Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Luck Monkey coming in first. Knocked. Welcome back. Enduring Coder. Hello. Miss Turner, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting Resilient Coders, because all the bits and subscriptions are going their way. Appreciate it. All right, folks. The question for tonight is, would you rather every light you approach, like a traffic light, be green, or never have to stand in line ever again? So in chat, please put either traffic light or line for if you would rather everything always be green or never stand in line. Straight Jacket, hello. Wolfpack, welcome back. 808, no lines, all right. Junior 18, good day, good day. McNash, no lines. Knocked, all right, never have to stand in line. All right, standing in line is pretty common. David, welcome back. Kashanda, how can this even be a question? Green lights all the way. Cookie codes, never stand in line. Hey everyone, welcome back, welcome back. Whoa, Izzy just did 1,200 points towards the more JavaScript 2 class challenge. Alyssa donated 1,700. What? Wow. I didn't even know people had that many points. I gotta make these challenges a little harder. What? 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 I put it at 10K. The one for 5K took a little bit, it took a bit of time. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna double this one, and there's no way we hit the double one. And literally, stream hasn't even really started yet, and we already hit the community challenge. Wow. All right, everyone. Thank you for contributing to that one. Wow. That was fast. I'm impressed. I'm impressed, chat. That was wild to me. Posture check already? All right, hold on. All right, I gotta get my back into the chair. All right, there we go. Good posture check. Thank you, Cross. So there are a lot of new things for the micro Leons. So last stream you couldn't see them, but there's a bunch of new ones. I added the new challenge for 10K, which just got smashed. So the challenge for the class, I didn't even get a chance to tell you what the challenge was. Thank you, everybody. That was great. So we are going to talk about the next bootcamp that's starting up, but we're taking a little bit of a break in between this one and that one starting. And so the community challenge from last class was a CSS3 animations class. So we're going to get that in. And then we're going to extend this class by 2 more classes. So we already hit that. I can't believe we hit it. Like 3 minutes in, we hit that community challenge already. You're all the best. So that was the first challenge. So we'll have 2 more JS class that kind of extends this one. And then I'm going to talk about the new bootcamp in a few minutes. I want to let folks get in here, say hello to everyone, and then we'll kind of talk about it. Yeah, so there are some other things. So there are some things you can use your micro Leons for. You can use them to tell me to hydrate, to do a posture check. All the things I tell you all to do every break, you can reverse it on me now, make me do them. There's also a couple longer term ones in terms of getting a resume review or a portfolio review or custom learning plan. So you can redeem your points for those bigger or larger goals. Because once again, I always want this stream to be absolutely free. I never want you to have to pay for anything. And so some of the things that would take me a little bit longer of time, I think it'd be fun to put them behind the channel points. You don't have to pay money for channel points. You just got to show up, participate in raids, things like that. So at the bottom, underneath submit a message in chat, there's like a little picture of me. If you click on that, it's the channel points, and there should be a whole bunch of things that you can redeem them for. I'm not sure how quickly the raid. So the raid points are new. So from all the previous raids, I didn't have channel points set up. So now it should be that going forward. We should also like have an emote now. Hold on, let's see. Learn with Leon. We should have like our own emote now. So I think it was approved. I'm looking. Actually, I don't see it yet. So might still need to. Oh, god damn. Cyber Ninja. Here you go. Gonna hydrate. Got some nice water today. Welcome back, everyone. So we're gonna go over our last. Well, now. God damn it, Luck Monkey. All right, another hydrate. Cool. We're going to get into the. Well, it was going to be the last JavaScript class, but now we extended it because we hit the community goal in 3 literal minutes. And so we're going to add 2 more JavaScript classes onto the end of this one. I'm moving this weekend. So unfortunately, there won't be any office hours this Saturday. And we're going to take the Tuesday off. But on that Thursday, we'll do the CSS3 animation class. And then we'll do that following Tuesday and Thursday for the extension. Okay. And so that'll be the how we'll kind of play this out. So just a reminder, and I'll remind everyone at the end of the stream, no office hours this Saturday because I'm moving. And then take that Tuesday off because I'll probably still be unpacking and stuff and I won't have my computer set up in time. And then that Thursday, we're back for the CSS animation class. I'm really excited for that one. We're going to do some really cool stuff, have things be moving and changing. And then we're going to do an extension of 2 more JavaScript classes that following Tuesday and Thursday. Are you teaching React? Not yet, but I have an announcement. Just kind of letting folks get in here. So the interesting thing is about the special rewards. They're hard to see in chat. I got to figure out how to highlight them. So if for some reason I miss your redemption, please just kind of poke me and say, hey, you missed it. Just because I sometimes chat moves a little fast. I'm in California. I'm moving to LA. Yeah, so I'll be in LA. Yeah, so should be fun. I'm really excited. My internet speed is gonna be really high. My internet speed is gonna be 940 down, 30 up. That's the thing I care about the most, right? Yep, everything will always be 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm in California, but I live my life like I'm pretending I'm still in Massachusetts. Because the nonprofit coding bootcamp that I help run during the day, we all are based in Boston, and so we run on East Coast time, and so it's just easier for me to think about it. All right, M-code, geez. All right, hold on. Posture check. I'm gonna have to raise some of these micro Leon points. All right. I think that's good. Not slouching. Let me get in here. Cool. So. Yeah, the forest fires have been a little intense. If I look outside right now, it's golden. It's not even normal, it's not normal brightness. It's just a golden haze, and the sun is bright red because of all the smoke in the air. I'm lucky that I am not. I am lucky that I am not near the forest fires. It's just all the smoke that's kind of coming through. Miriam said hydrate. All right, Miriam. Cheers to you. Hydrating. All right. Yeah, so there's some things from last class that we didn't get to that we're going to cover again. And then, so tonight, let's pull up the agenda, and then I'll do normal questions. So tonight, we're going to talk about what's next. We're going to talk about functions. We're going to talk about loops. But first, as always, I like to start with questions. So you have questions about code from last class, questions about life, questions about career and tech. Let's get those out, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, that one fire was started from a family. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, Orasi, the pictures from San Francisco look like Blade Runner. They're wild. Should I be Little Leon right now? I think so. Yeah, let me bring up Little Leon for questions. Actually, no, I'll keep. This is the meme, the question meme, but I'm gonna stay Big Leon to answer your questions. Just for today. Normally I'm Little Leon. Folks that are new and want to follow along, you can do !slides in chat. That'll get you the slides for today. And then if you want our materials, do !Discord. Join our Discord, agree to all the rules, and then you'll get access to a follow along materials channel, and that'll have the zip for all the code for today. In a function, is it best practice to default to const and only change it as the variable as it progresses? You should think through like what type of content it is. If it's something that you know won't change in terms of things like DOM elements are probably always going to be const, right? Like you're grabbing an element from the DOM, that's always going to be const. If you're unsure, you can start with let, and then when it comes time to like finalize your code or refactor it, you can make the changes that you need to make. But then you're gonna start to realize there are patterns for some things that are always going to be const, some things that always be let, and so just give it a little bit more time. You'll start to recognize those. But I would say for now, think through, but don't be afraid to come back and change. Yeah, Code Planner, we're definitely going to go over Project 3 from Bachelor Code. I definitely know it was a hard one, and then we're just going to review some simple functions, absolutely. What are some bad habits we should avoid when coding or learning to code? That's a great question. The number one and most important thing is to have good learning habits going into learning how to code. So you can do !learn in chat. You can also do !study or study tips, and that'll bring up the two things I always recommend. The first thing I always recommend is learning how to learn. It's just a great course to help you learn the basics. And then Ali Abdal has evidence-based study tips that are really, really great, that I think are really helpful for you to have in mind. So things like spaced repetition, active recall, you definitely want to have those things locked down before learning the code journey, just because it's going to help you retain all the information. Fredo7, thanks for the 50 bits. I appreciate it. So folks that might have missed last class, we accepted the affiliate agreement over the weekend. So that means is that now you can subscribe, you can donate bits, but like I'm going to say over and over and over again, it's not necessary. The only reason that we accepted the affiliate agreement was so that we could get better quality settings in stream and have the fun channel points, right? If you do feel like you want to donate or use your Prime subscribing, whatever that is, Prime Gaming subscription, which is free, or you want to cheer bits, all of that money is going to Resilient Coders, which is the free nonprofit stipended bootcamp that I help run during the day for folks of color in the Boston area. So anything that comes in from now is going straight to them. All right. So yeah, make sure your study habits are locked down. It would be a waste to kind of go through a whole tutorial and then not remember anything a week from now because you didn't have a tool like Anki set up or you weren't actively recalling and really learning. And then the other really big thing that I notice when folks are first learning to code that's important is make sure you type out all the code. Don't watch a tutorial like it's Netflix. Don't have your popcorn out and like just following along and at the end feel good about it. You should be typing out everything that you see. You should be typing out all the examples. Make sure that your fingers are getting used to doing all of that. Hey, Cookie, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Keeping going through these questions here. Is being bilingual advantageous when working in development? I mean, it can't hurt, right? I think that'd be great. I think like a big thing that a lot of smaller companies have difficulty with is like localizing their content to different markets. So if you are bilingual and fluent in multiple languages, then that can be really helpful when you want to help localize your sites into different markets. So I think it can be pretty helpful. I think it's always definitely an asset for any job, really. Plix98 said, are you using an IDE for this class? Not technically. I'm using Atom, which is a free software text editor. A lot of students like that, or Sublime Text, or VS Code. There are like full-blown IDEs for web development like WebStorm. I just particularly don't like them. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I just feel more comfortable with Atom. Any good daily challenges to practice JS is still not sticking for me. Absolutely, but also you shouldn't be feeling like it's not sticking for you yet. We've only done it for like 2 or 3 days. Remember my example, if you were taking a class on Japanese, right, and you came to me after the 3rd class and you're like, Leon, I've been to 3 classes, but I'm not fluent yet, right? I'm not fluent yet. I want my free money back, right? You can't do that, right? If you were learning Japanese, you're going to expect fluency to take a very long time. But what you would expect maybe in the first 2 classes or 3 classes be like how to say hello, how to say goodbye, how to like think about how sentences are going to come together. That's where you should be at in your JavaScript journey. You should start to feel a little bit more familiar with some syntax, but you should probably definitely still have problems like starting from scratch. You should probably still definitely have problems like maybe reading along with everything, but give yourself that process, give yourself that like chance to go through it. I think the best thing you could do is if you go back through our previous classes, redo the examples by yourself. And if you can't figure it out, watch the video, redo it again. And that little bit of repetition will give you the basics. You basically want to be able to do variables, conditionals, functions, and loops. If you can do those big 4, you're off to the races. And so today we're going to finish up functions. We're going to finish up loops, but don't hold yourself to not feeling 100% comfortable with yet. That's going to come with time. Okay. But if you want daily practice, I really like Code Wars Fundamentals Track Level 8s. That's once you know the basics, that will get you doing some of them. They're a little bit harder for just brand new. That's why I say definitely redo the material we've done together. Definitely do some smaller ones, but then those very, very simple fundamental Code Wars can be a great way of getting some daily practice in. All right, going through here. Yeah, mine, Ali Abdel has a free masterclass on Anki. I haven't actually gone through it yet. I'm excited. If anybody's gone through it, I would love to hear your opinions on it. All right. How many programming languages are too many to learn at once? Am I able to learn full stack web and, for example, C# as well? That's totally a personal question. Most of my students have trouble learning more than one language at a time. So I always tell people if you're asking me like, Leon, I want to get from 0 to employable as fast as possible, my response is always going to be stick to one language, probably JavaScript, because you can do everything on both the front end and the back end with that one language. But I've had students that have taken on C#. Actually, like I had a student that made a full game in Unity while going through my bootcamp that I helped organize during the day. So I've seen it happen. That person, we literally have a plaque that I made that I'm putting on a chair once we get back to like being in person, because this student was literally in that chair every day for like 20 hours building his game. And so his name is Alan. I'm going to shout out Alan. Alan, I miss you. I literally made a plaque that I'm going to put on a chair because that's Alan's chair. Every day he would be in class, he doing everything he would need to, and then he would be there until like 11 o'clock every night, also learning stuff he needed to learn for Unity. So I've seen it happen. Is it hard? Yes. Is JS supposed to be faster than Python on web? I mean, if you mean on like the back end, not really. They're different tools for different things, right? Do web dev interviews require leak code type tests? Alpine completely depends on the company, but most of the time, yes, you're going to have some sort of coding challenge that you're going to experience during the interview process. I would say out of the hundreds of interviews I see my students do, probably 5 of them don't require LeetCode-S type problems. Now, LeetCodes can definitely have a range from between like easy to hard. And I would say most of my students definitely encounter like easy to mediums for like entry-level web dev problems. And there are still some great companies that don't feel the need to do those challenges, but they're definitely the minority at the moment. Yeah, Bugaboo, we're just doing questions right now. I guess that makes sense. I should be in Little Leon. I agree with Alyssa. I should be in Little Leon so people can see that we're doing questions. Redbird, we use const for degrees. So we were pulling something from the DOM. So typically when I pull something from the DOM, I use it as a const. But if I knew that I was going to manipulate that variable or add to it or remove from it, I wouldn't have done it as const. Often you'll see me, I think Ryan mentioned this in class. I typically default to const, and then I can update or like upgrade things to let if I need to. So a lot of times you'll see me start with const and then change it later on based on when I need to like have it be something else to like let. So you might see that pattern pop up. So it might start const but then get changed to let. Kishante, I'm actually in a Japanese class right now. This metaphor is legit. Last avatar, welcome. I hope you don't get caught. Cool. All right. Yeah, Chaz, please. Those level 8s are hard. Make sure you're definitely doing the fundamentals track on Code Wars, though, because those are a little bit easier. Okay. I'm having the biggest difficulty with functions and conditionals. Reptar, you're in for a treat because that's what we're going to be spending most of today on. Are you covering ES6? Yes, Blueberry, you've been learning if you've been following along, you've been learning ES6 syntax. We started like the very beginning with like some things that weren't ES6, and we've been slowly replacing them in. So by the time tonight, you're going to be seeing mostly ES6 code. How are sites like Code Wars funded? Some of them have ads, and a lot of them have premium content. On Code Wars, you can pay for like Code Wars Red, which gives you some like premium functionality. LeetCode, you pay and they give you better processing. So like your answers get tested faster. You don't have to wait as long. Yeah. So Ghost, I'm telling folks, if they want to do Code Wars, make sure you're definitely doing level 8 Code Wars, and make sure you're doing the fundamentals track on those level 8s, because you can have level 8s that are anything, but there's this fundamentals track that's all the basics of JavaScript that make them a little bit easier. Code Wars, though, is definitely something you save until after you kind of have the basics down, though. For a lot of folks, if it's your first time really writing JavaScript, Code Wars is something you're going to want to work up a little bit too. Honduran Code, you like the masterclass? That's awesome. I'm going to check it out. Hopefully check it out this upcoming week. Kozel asks, just curious, at what point of doing classes do you learn, relearn? Do you start to do a long-term project? Once you get through one full stack tutorial and you feel like you're pretty confident in the language that tutorial taught, that's when you should start working on a long-term project. You're going to learn so much more from that long-term project than you are from like the tutorial that it's kind of absurd. So definitely I say get through the basics, then get through one like really meaty, long, full stack tutorial, and then start working on your passion project. And find a community that can help you. Shout out our Discord channel. We have tons of great mentors that are helping folks all day long. So yeah, join there. A few more questions and we'll get started, folks. The Nova Stella says, computer finally rebooted. I'm here super late saying green lights. I'm really stuck on this one. Green lights are never stand in line. I don't mind standing in line, so I think I might go with the green lights. right, folks. Alrighty. Hey, Green, happy birthday. Who's Alan? Oh, Alan. Oh, like my Alan. Yeah, Alan's awesome. He's a G. Alyssa, I'll most likely be staying in California. I'm like really behind on chat. I read so many good questions that I'm like now having to scroll all the way down. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to scroll down all the way. Holy moly, you all are awesome. All right. Sorry, I scrolled all the way past a lot of good stuff. I just want to make sure that I'm not listing anything. All right, so Ghost asked the great next question, and that is, what are you teaching next? So I'm going to go ahead and answer that now. Anybody know where this GIF comes from, like who this is or where it comes from? I'm curious. Chat's been really good at like detecting the memes. Anybody know where this is from? Yeah, Straight Jacket got it first. Nice. Hey, Studios. Yeah, The Adventures of Pete and Pete. Great show. Used to love it, watching it. I gotta see if I can find it online. It'd be great. Where's Artie, the strongest man in the world? Yeah. Cool. All right, so what's next? It's been awesome having you all coming into these classes for the past 10 classes. It's been amazing every Tuesday and Thursday hanging out with y'all. Every Saturday doing office hours with everyone. The community we built on Discord is almost at 600 people. We have mentors and students from all over the world that are coming together learning to code. I did this as a test to see if like we could build the community that I wanted to build. I did this as a test to see if we could help folks learn the basics of code. And I think it's been a success. All right. What do you think? I think it's been a success. I think we've shown that we can do this live, that the bootcamp model can work on Twitch. And I feel like folks got a lot of value out of it. So I'm game. I'm in. I started with the idea of having folks that were affected by the pandemic learn how to code to see if it might be a good fit for them. It seems like folks had a really good time. So I want to take it to the next level. Okay. I want to take it to the next level. I want to help the folks that I set out to help. And the way that I can do that is by doing a boot camp that goes from 0 to employable. Okay. I've helped thousands of students learn the code. I've helped hundreds get jobs as software engineers. And I want to see if we can go from 0 to employable and people getting phenomenal jobs all live here on Twitch. Okay. So what I am starting, and this is the working title, it might change, is 100 devs. The idea is to have a group of 100 folks that are working on going from 0 to employable and then getting their first jobs as a software engineer. Okay. So I'm calling it 100 devs for now. We might change up a little bit. I don't like the word dev. I like the word software engineer because I want you to be a software engineer. I don't want you just to be a web developer. I like the software engineer, but I think 100 devs is fitting. And we have 97 people here right now, right? We'll probably hit 100 as folks kind of get into chat. But there's 100 of y'all here now. And I think that'd be a good fitting 100 devs to keep pushing forward. So I am going to announce signups on my Twitter first. So on Twitter, I'll probably be making the announcement in the next couple of days. And the sign up process is going to be a little bit lengthier than it was for kind of signing up for this 5-week boot camp. It's going to require you to fill out a survey. It's going to require you to tell me like who you are, right? Because I see so many of you in chat all the time, right? And so I'm going to ask like, what's your Twitch name? What's your Discord name? Things like that, so I can tie folks into their application. And then I'm going to ask for a few more things to just make sure that you're committed, right? Maybe like a paragraph of like what you're getting out of the class, because I want to make sure that if you're taking a spot in 100 devs, you're committed to showing up at least 2 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday, that you're committed to putting in the work on the weekends and at night, and that you're willing to do all the things that are going to be needed for you to go from 0 to employable. If you can't make that commitment, please don't take somebody's spot. But if you can make that commitment, then I think we can do something really wonderful. I think we can put together a bootcamp that was way better than this one. I feel like I've figured out what I can do, what I can't do, what might be possible, and I got big plans for it. So if you're not following me on Twitter, definitely follow me on Twitter, !Twitter. I'll make the announcement and I'll send out like all the application stuff there first. And then I'll put it in Discord as well. And then next week when we meet next Thursday, I'll share the link there as well. So that's kind of what I'm planning. That's what I want to do. Once again, I'm going to prioritize folks that have been affected by the pandemic. If you've been laid off, if you lost your job to the pandemic, you definitely get some priority. I'm also prioritizing folks that are not traditionally represented in tech. So if you're not one of the individuals that might not be traditionally represented in tech, whatever that may mean to you, I'm putting that as a kind of like an extra kind of incentive on top of everything. So if you kind of have fit those 2 roles, the chance of getting in are higher, but I want it to be open to everyone that's been here, that's been in chat, everyone that's been active in the Discord. This is for us. This is for the community that we built. This is for pushing that community forward. And even if you don't make it into the 100 devs, everything will be open, right? Everything will be live streamed here on Twitch. All the materials will be available. All those resources will always be available to everyone. And my promise, as I said earlier and going forward, is every bit of content I ever produce for education will always be free. I'm never going to put it behind a paywall. I'm never going to put it behind a subscription here on Twitch. None of that stuff. Every single thing I do will be free. Cool. All right. So that's the announcement. That's what we're doing. 100 devs. Hoping to kick that off in like 2 weeks or so. So we still have next week, which is the CSS class. Then next week after that will be our extension of 2 classes with the JS. And then after that, we're going to start 100 devs. So if you're interested and you want to follow along, go ahead and make sure you follow me on Twitter. That way you see it pop up, and we'll take it from there. Green, happy birthday again. All right. So that was the big announcement. And then like 20 people leave. They were just here for that. A-okay. I don't have the exact start date yet. The start date's gonna come down to how fast I can get people into like the recruitment process. Like as fast as I can get people through the recruitment process, that's how fast we'll start. The Night 86, you shouldn't get commercials in the middle of the stream. You might get a commercial when you first join. That's just the unfortunate side effect of affiliate. But you shouldn't be getting them middle. If you're getting them in the middle, people let me know, because I don't think that should be happening. I'm definitely not running them, that's for sure. The code planner, that's a good question. How long will it take? I'm thinking it's going to be a while. It's definitely not going to be like a 12-week boot camp. We're only meeting 2 to 3 times a week. My students during the day that give me every day do it in 20. So we're looking anywhere from 20 weeks to 40 weeks possibly. But it'll come down to planning. It'll come down to talking through what the 100 devs can commit to. So we're still kind of planning out all that stuff, but I'll have a better idea once we get the recruitment started. Like I said, this this bootcamp like showed me like what was possible, and so now I have a better idea of what I can and can't do, how it could work, and so I'm going to put a lot of energy. The next month or so is going to be pouring all the energy into the stream, It takes me a really long time to get all the material set up, like to build out the slides, to build out the starter code. Like that all takes time. And then I have to like practice everything so that I don't mess up while we're live. So that takes a little while. So I definitely know it's going to take me a couple weeks to get all that going, but we'll be doing the recruitment process during then. And then we'll get started as soon as we can. Luck Monkey, yeah, I was on TV. Will the intensity of the bootcamp be similar to the one you teach during the day? It's not going to be similar to that level of intensity because I know a lot of folks are coming here at the end of the day. A lot of folks might be working a second job. Like I want folks to be able to follow along in the evenings. So it's definitely going to be less intense than like my normal in-person everyday bootcamp would be. So that just means it's going to take a little bit longer. Okay. So we're just going to add on time. But you get out what you put in, right? So the more work you put into it, the better you'll be prepared when we get to the employable stage. Izzy, hydrate. Thank you. De Jesus, cheers to you. Thank you, Nick. I'm going to hydrate. I'm where I live right now. The water quality is really bad. It has like 300 times like the normal amount of arsenic you should have. So I'm looking forward to, I love tap water. I don't know. I've always drinking water straight out the tap. So I'm looking forward to moving somewhere where I can drink the tap water again. Yeah, we're going to be taking pauses for stream just so I can go to the bathroom. All right. So that was the big reveal. Let's go about what we're going to do today. All right. So we talked about what's next. We talked about the next big boot camp. We're going to talk about some JavaScript basics again today. We're going to talk about pseudocode again and where you should kind of be with your pseudocode. We're going to finish up the bachelor code, that number 3, which was, woo, I don't know if you tried it on your own, but it's definitely a doozy. We're going to slow it down a little bit after that. I know the bachelor code is like pushing. We'll slow it down a little bit, go over functions. We'll go over loops. We'll build a 21 Savage loop. And then we'll talk about next steps and next classes and things like that. We blew through the community goal in literally 3 minutes. So upcoming, we do have the CSS3 animation class on Thursday, next Thursday. And then we have 2 more additions to this class the following week. So I'm excited for that. All right. Let's get into it. Like I said, I got to figure out how to pull up the stream of channel point redemptions. So if I miss your redemption, feel free to say, hey, Leon, you missed it. Or Alyssa, if you noticed them, can you just say, hey, Leon, you missed it? And I'll keep an eye out. Cool. All right, let's get into it, folks. Let's have some fun. Let's learn some code. All right. Separation of concerns. We had to do it, right? Had to do it. For last class, we had to do it. Our HTML is for our content and our structure. CSS is for our style. Our behavior and interaction, it goes for our JavaScript. And why is it important to keep these rules? So why shouldn't we mix our CSS into our HTML or put our JavaScript in our CSS? And you all brilliantly have answered organization, right? The more organized our code is, the easier it is for you to come back to your code and know where to put things. It makes it easier for when you're working on a development team to know where to go and put things as well. So if somebody on your team says, hey, Leon, I want to add a little bit more content, they know to go to your HTML. If they say, hey, Leon, I want to make something orange, they know to go to the CSS. And if they say, hey, Leon, when I click, I want to flip stuff around and have things go wild, they know to go to look at your JavaScript. So it's that organization that helps ourselves. It's that organization that helps our teams. And as people are spamming in chat, the exceptions would be when it comes to things like emails, because emails often don't have external style sheets. So you're putting stuff in line with your HTML. And the other exception is some big companies like Amazon cheat the system a little bit and use something called critical path CSS. There you go, knocked, to make that landing page load a little bit faster. I'm going to figure out by hopefully next week how I can give like more channel points. We also have a subsystem for points that I'm going to be keeping track of as well. So there's going to be channel points, which are micro Leons, and then we're going to have some other points to do some other fun stuff as well. So I want to have like participation points so that if you're the first person to say something or you get some work done quickly, I can give you some points. So I'm going to be working on that. All right, real quick, let's review IDs and classes. Remember, IDs are for targeting one element and only one element. You can give an element an ID, and that's the way of targeting and talking to just that element. All right. Nick said, anyone that beats me in tech and gets all the points. I will agree. If you can beat Nick in Tekken, you can have anything you want from the channel points list. I don't think you'll beat him. But if you manage to, and he takes your game, you can redeem anything you want from channel points. All right. So IDs target one element and only on one element uniquely. We've been seeing IDs come up a lot because the IDs are helpful when we get to JavaScript because we can target a specific element to put stuff into the DOM, take stuff out of the DOM, right? So that's why we see them a lot. Classes we were seeing a lot because we can add and remove classes via JavaScript. What is the built-in method that gives us access to all the classes on an element that's in the DOM? Boy, that's a meaty sentence. But what would we use in JavaScript to look at all the classes? Anybody remember what that would be? Woo! Knock came in first. Class list, yes. Sophia. Okayla, yes. 808, yes. Cross got it. Dashlin got it. Izzy got it. Luck Monkey, yes. It's class list, right? Class list is going to give us the ability to see all the classes, to add them, remove them, toggle them, right? And so we had all that wonderful behavior that we started to see, when we got into the Bachelor code. Ghostfire said 1 trillion points rewarded. Get Domino's pizza and Kirkland green tea with Leon in person. I think that'd be funny. I'll add something like that. I'll add like a 1,000,000 point one. There are some other folks on Twitch that have, for 1,000,000 points, you can end their stream, and people have redeemed them in the past. I was looking at some funny ones that were online. So I don't think I'll ever have like an end class one, but I want something funny for the end, like 1,000,000 points, and I'll send you a Domino's pizza. Or I'll pay for your art class with the nuns. I'll figure out a funny one and I'll put that as like the ultimate goal. But I don't know. I don't trust y'all. Y'all crushed that community goal in 3 minutes. So I gotta be careful what I put on there. All right. Programming. Let's talk about the basics of programming here. The golden rule here when it comes to programming is that a computer will do what you tell it to do, right? And so we have two big terminology pieces here. We have a program. A program is just a set of instructions that you write to tell a computer what to do, right? And so a program is just a simple set of instructions. And so if a program is just a simple set of instructions, then programming is the task of writing those instructions, but in a language the computer can understand. Okay, so when we're writing JavaScript, that JavaScript is going to be broken down into something that the computer can understand. That language is for us to communicate our ideas and hopefully send those instructions on to the computer, but the JavaScript is broken down into something that the computer can understand. Whoop. All right, in Twitch chat, how is Independence Day a true story? In chat, tell me, how is Independence Day a true story? Binary upload, boom. I love it. Yeah. So Jeff Goldblum reverse engineered the aliens code all the way down to binary because we assume that on and off is a universal constant, built up that basic logic all the way up to a language that was back to the original kind of language the aliens were speaking, uploaded that onto the alien mothership, the communication system that was linked to the power system, sent that out, took down all their shields, and we nuked them. Boom. Binary upload, boom. All right. Let's talk a little bit about JavaScript. Yeah, diabolical. JS is a scripting language. You might run into terms like interpreted and compiled, or compiled at runtime. All right, let's talk about JavaScript. JavaScript has specific syntax. That syntax is the spelling and grammar rules that make up that language. So when we were looking at HTML, HTML had tags that opened and closed. When we were looking at CSS, we wrote rules that had declarations with properties and values. And when we get to JavaScript, we're seeing syntax as well. We're seeing keywords like let and const and function. We're seeing that we're using parentheses and curly braces. When we're evaluating logic, we're seeing equal signs and double pipe characters for or and double ampersands for and so all these little things make up a language, and in JavaScript it makes up the specific syntax of that language. All right, what are variables? Let's review variables real quick. What are variables, chat? What's a variable? Data bucket. Nice. Stored values, bucket, place to remember. Yep, those things. Bucket assignment, bucket of KFC. Yeah, all of those were right. Variable is just a value that we're going to remember and use later on. Remember, when it comes to variables, we're kind of creating a bucket, and then we can put values into that bucket, and then we can use those values whenever we want. Okay. When it comes to variables, there are two really important steps. Okay. There are two really important steps. We declare the variable. All right. The declaration step creates that space in memory, and then assignment. Assignment puts a value into that space in memory. So you can think of the first step as creating a bucket called age. And then the second step, or assignment, is taking 25 and putting it into that bucket. Now, Kobe, now whenever I ask for what's inside the bucket age, it'll be 25. You can do both of those at the same time. So you can do the declaration and then the assignment all on one line. There's a convention that I keep with my variables. It's called Camelcase. The first word is always lowercase. Every other word is capitalized. So here we have number is lowercase, and then of and apple are uppercase. And it's just a convention, right? Some teams are going to use hyphens. Some teams are going to use underscores. Some teams are going to use the Camelcase. It's a personal preference. I've always used Camelcase. And I use Camelcase across my HTML, my CSS, and my JavaScript. If I'm ever working with another developer and they say, hey, Leon, how do you keep track of your variable namings and things like that? I'm always going to say, hey, I use Camelcase. Thanks, Bam1. All right, let's keep pushing, folks. I know this is a review. I just want these ideas to kind of cement in your head. We're doing spaced repetition live here. Remember, we've talked about variables and the types that we... What? Diabolical used to be a camel trainer? What? That's wild. I love that. I want to hear all about that after stream. I used to always go to the zoo, and the zoo always had like the camel and elephant rides. And like when you're little, that's like the coolest thing ever. Like, oh my gosh, I got to ride camels and elephants. And then you come back and you just realize that elephant's like walking in a small circle for hours upon hours every day with like little kids screaming on their back. So I just vividly remember that being like one of the highlights of like my childhood life. And now I come back and I just can't unsee it. Just can't see it. I do really want to know about this camel training. This sounds amazing. What were you training them to do? I just want to like stop stream for a moment and hear Diabolical tell us about how he trained camels. But we'll continue. We won't do that. All right. We talked about two different things that we could store in variables. We talked about strings And we talked about numbers. Remember, strings are just pieces of text that are surrounded by quotes. You can use double quotes or single quotes on the outside. Just remember, whatever quotes you use on the outside, you can't use on the inside unless you escape them. We can also put numbers into our variables, right? So we can have whole numbers, which we call integers. We can also have floated values, which are just numbers with decimal places. We can have signed numbers, so positive and negative. And we can do basic arithmetic. If we want to do addition, we use the plus sign. If we want to do subtraction, we use the hyphen. If we want to do multiplication, we use the asterisk. Division is // and modulus, which gives us the remainder, is always going to be the percent sign. So these are just the simple ways of doing arithmetic in JavaScript. Eventually, we want to make decisions in our code. And to make everybody take a deep breath, operations are coming across. That's funny. Eventually, you want to make decisions in your code. And so we have ways of comparing elements, right? Comparing things. We have 3 equal signs, which compare in value and type. And we have 2 equal signs, which are just value. So we can do 9 equals 9, that's true. 7 equals 3, that's false. They're not equal in number. And then the weird thing about JavaScript is you can also compare strings, right? So does hello equal hello? Does string hello equal string hello? Okay. Then we have our logical operators. We have, remember, double equal signs for value, and we have triple equal signs for value and type. I'm going to spare everyone tonight. I'm going to spare you. If you're still having trouble with this, you can go back to the last class. But I don't want to scar anyone again tonight. Remember, 2 equal signs are just value. 3 equal signs are value and type. Like, are they both strings? Are they both numbers? All right. Maybe we'll do one. Maybe we'll do one. No pain, no gain, no mercy. All right, let's do it, folks. People are saying they want it. I'm a man of the people. All right, let's go through it. Let's do it with 8 this time. Let's do it with 8. All right. Is 8 equal to 8 in number or value? Put it in chat for me. Is 8 equal to 8 in value? Yes. Is 8, and let's do this real quick. Is 8 triple equals 8 in value and type? Yeah. So even if it was triple equals, this would work. All right. Is 8 equal to string 3 in value? Put it in chat. No, obviously 8 is not 3. But is number 8 equal to string 3 in type? Nope. All right. Is number 8 equal to number 3 in value? You got a warning, Sylphie? Oh no. Oh no, it's like you gotta switch up. You gotta say no, nah, nada, absolutely not. Oh no, people are getting timed out. I'm sorry. All right, let's just keep going. Let's keep going. Is number 8 equal to number 3 in value? No, but is it equal in type? Is number 8 equal to number 3 in type? Yes, they're both numbers, right? So the type is the same. I got to figure out how to turn off I don't want, people are, I guess it's trying to say that you're spamming, but we're not spamming. We're just answering questions, right? This is class. I got to figure that out. Hopefully we don't get people timed out. All right, let's keep pushing. Does 8 not equal 8 in value? Does 8 not equal 8 in value? Nope. That's false. They do. They are equal in value, right? They are equal in value. All right. This is the hard one. Is number 8 not equal to string 3 in number and value? That's a true statement, right? It's not equal in value, and it's not equal in type, right? So not equal in value and not equal in type. Is number 8 not equal to number 3 in value? That's true. It's not equal in value. Is it not equal in type? No, that's false, right? Is 8... Oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one. All right. Is 8 greater than 8? This is going to be helpful for later on tonight. Oh, Jesus, help me. No, it's because it's not greater. It's equal, right? So same thing for the next one. Is 8 less than 8? Nope, because it's equal. But is 8 greater than or equal to 8? Yes, that's absolutely true. It is definitely equal to 8, right? And is 8 less than or equal to 8? That's again true because it is equal to 8. So that was fun. We've gone through this a couple times now. If you're still getting tripped up on it, that's okay. Come to the next office hours, not this Saturday. Following Saturday, come to office hours. I'm going to spend some more time breaking this down because I see this as like a common sticking point for folks. You can review it in the other classes, and you can also come to office hours, and we'll spend a little bit more time on it. Fun, he said. All right, conditional syntax. If what is inside the parentheses is true, we do what's inside the curly braces. Cool. Miss Turner is going to be doing a lot of review. That's awesome. Carthy, no office hours this weekend. I'm moving, but we'll be back regular schedule next after that. Conditional syntax. Remember, if what is inside these parentheses is false, we go on to the else if. If what is inside of these parentheses, we do the else automatically, right? So if all the conditional checks above are false, the else automatically runs. You can have as many else ifs as you would like. You can do if, else 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 if, right? And then it's up to you whether or not you want an else. You don't need one, but if you do have one and all the checks above it are false, well, then you are going to have something that runs by default after all those checks were false. Okay. All right. Pizza equals Domino's, right? So what gets printed to the console, folks? In chat, what gets printed to the console, please? Chaz, please. Yeah, you can use a switch statement. That is true. Miriam says, always. And then Chow's follows in Flavortown. Alyssa, all aboard. Alyssa, how did you get the train in front of your name? That's interesting. We're all aboard the Flavortown. I love it. Yeah, so pizza is not equal to Papa John's. Gifted subs. Oh, from the hype train. That's right. Oh, thank you. I remember that now. Yep. Thank you, Nock. Thank you, Alyssa, for the hype train and everyone else that contributed to it. So pizza does not equal Papa John's. So we go to the else if. And in this case, pizza does equal Domino's. It will always equal Domino's. So we're going to see print it to the console. All aboard the train to Flavortown. Cool. Keep pushing. What is the danger of assignment versus comparison, chat? What is the danger of assignment versus comparison? It will never run Papa John's. Yeah. So the danger is that if you use one equal sign, you're going to wind up reassigning something when you are trying to compare two things. Remember, if you're doing comparison, it's always going to be 2 or 3 equal signs, never 1. If you're doing 1, you're going to do some sort of reassignment. Okay? I'm thirsty. Can anybody tell me to hydrate? If we have multiple conditions, right, we can have... I just want to see people do it. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, Alpine. MJ, Untitled, Dawa, Four-Sword, thank you for helping me hydrate. Muhammad, thank you for helping me hydrate. Woo! All right. If name equals Leon and status equals Ballin, wink at camera, right? So my name is Leon. I am status Ballin, and I'm going to wink at the camera. Luck Monkey, thank you. I'm properly hydrated. Throws pretend micro Leons. I love it. All right. So we can have multiple conditions. Those multiple conditions are separated by double ampersands. We can also have double pipe character, which is or, right? So if the day equals Saturday or the day equals Sunday, then we know it's the weekend, right? And that's kind of it. So those are kind of the conditions. Let's talk about pseudocode real quick. All right, let's talk about pseudocode real quick, and then we're going to take a break. Let's talk about pseudocode real quick, and then we're going to take a break. So pseudocode. Remember, when you're first kind of tackling the problems, it's going to be hard, right? When you're first tackling problems, it's going to be hard to know all the syntax you want to use straight off the dome. It's going to be hard to know exactly what you want your program to do in terms of the JavaScript syntax, because that syntax is new to you. But what you can do is think through problems, right? You can think through problems in terms of like plain natural language. So I want my program to do this, I want my program to do that, and I want my program to do this. And that's where you want to start, especially if you're feeling kind of apprehensive or not confident writing the code yet. Start with your pseudocode. So the example we did together was the temperature converter. With the temperature converter, we said, hey, I want to do 3 things. All right. What were the 3 things we wanted to do for a temperature converter? What was the pseudocode for a temperature converter? Chat. What was the pseudocode for a temperature converter? Okay, Doge got the first one. Arasi got the first one. Get the input, like get the value that the user inputted. Do some math, and then output it. Exactly. Knocked it out the park. That's my favorite saying. Knocked it out the park. We got the user input. We did some conversion math to it, and then we outputted it. So I don't even need to know JavaScript to know that's what I want to do, right? I don't need to know JavaScript to know that's what I want to do. I want to get some value. I want to convert it in terms of like math, and then I want to output it to the user. Okay, so that's pseudocode. Whenever you're tackling a large problem or you want to start building something, start with your pseudocode. It's going to make the writing of code a lot easier, especially early on. A lot of times, when you're first starting, you don't know how to do something, and that pseudocode is going to turn into your Google, right? It's going to turn into what you Google. And that pseudocode can save your butt, because if you can get better at it, then you can get better at Googling your problems and writing code faster. So that's why pseudocode is super important. And we'll keep going from there. All right. We've been going for a little over an hour. Let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break for folks that need to pray. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and we're going to come back, and we're going to start trucking, folks. We're going to start seeing a lot of code, getting a lot of practice in. So I want to take a 5-minute break. All right, let's put it on the board. There we go. Take 5 minutes. Hydrate. Stretch. Give yourself a break, right? Do a little walk. Pet your dog. Say what's up to the cat. Check on the kids. See how they're doing. Whatever you got to do in these 5 minutes. Time to pray and eat birthday cake. Nice. And then I will see you all in 4 minutes and 34 seconds. All right, folks. If folks are staying with us through the break, feel free to ask questions. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have while we're waiting for the break to finish up. Like I said, you're using your brain. It's been a long day. Make sure you're taking a little bit of a break, grabbing some water, hydrating, moving around, stretching. There you go. Sorry to re-ask this, but you missed my question. Sure. How do you get enough time to read, do Anki, and all this stuff? Since I lost my job, thought it was going to be super productive, but it's been more of a lot of wasted time. Any advice? Yes. I used to be the same way. For me, especially like as I was getting better at code, I was also struggling with bipolar disorder and had a lot of attention issues. The thing that I did to kind of pull myself out of that slump was to be really real about my time. I said, Leon, doing 1 minute of code was better than doing no code that day. And I gave myself the room to start small. A lot of folks don't give themselves the room to start small, and then the habits never compound and never get bigger. So start with the smallest thing you can do to be productive that day, right? For a lot of people, when they're brushing their teeth, write 1 line of code. It's tied to a habit. There's a lot of research that says if you can tie new habits to old habits, you're good to go. So start there. Start with the idea of like, what's the simplest thing I can do? If you feel like you're not having problems getting started, give yourself 5 minutes. 5 minutes of super focused attention, and then 55 minutes of doing whatever you want to do. Okay? So 5 minutes of super focus, 55 of doing whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, you're going to have a solid hour of really good coding time done. And that's going to be way better than having no coding time. And then as you get more and more comfortable, this is called Pomodoro Technique. As you get more comfortable and you build up the discipline, you build up the mental fortitude to do it, you're going to start to see that you're going to keep pushing the time. So eventually you can get up to where you feel comfortable. Some people get up to like 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. Some people push past that. I'm at 45 on, 15 off. So I'll work for 45 minutes coding, doing challenges, and then I take 15 minutes off to do whatever I want. Go walk, drink water, hydrate, play a game, doesn't matter. But that took me like 2 years to build up to. So forgive yourself, start small, and work up to building the habit of doing longer. The kids are on their own starting now, Ms. Turner. Where is the make me take a break option? There's a stretch option and there's a hydrate option, I believe. They're getting unlimited screen time during class. I love it. I see WordPress uses plugins for kind of turnkey security. How does a new web developer make sure a site is secure? You're probably not going to have that expertise. You're going to have to trust those security options. Use off-the-shelf security options. Most of the time, you'll probably be fine with that. You can actually bring in a more experienced developer or somebody to do security audits or to like at least work through the code for you. So that's a big. That's the thing. Leon's calendar is the most wild thing I've ever seen in my life. It's true, Nick. It is kind of wild. Leon, do you think the schedule for the 100 devs class will be the same as the current schedule? Yes, definitely Tuesday and Thursday for sure. Based on survey responses, I would love to get up to 3 days a week. So I don't know what that third day would be. I don't know if we would do 3 days and office hours. That's really going to come down to the 100 devs and us talking and figuring out what works best for everyone. Yeah, all my activities are scheduled. Like if I'm doing anything, it's on my calendar. I have a meme on my Twitter that's I live my life one Google Calendar invite at a time, and it's very true. Like I have the picture of like Vin Diesel in his car because Vin Diesel has the quote I live my life 1/4 mile at a time, and I made a meme that says I live my life one Google Calendar invite at a time because that's super true. My whole every day is scheduled. It's the only thing that helps me like stay focused, honestly. How do I write code in one hand and a toothbrush in the other? Oh, that's a skill. You're gonna have to learn it. Yeah, Atomic Habits is where that idea comes from of tying new habits to old habits. Great book. I recommended it a class or two ago. Chrono, if you don't know what to write in the first place, pick something you want to build. So once you get through a tutorial, pick something you want to build. For some folks, that's a video game. For some folks, that's an app they've always had in mind. It doesn't really matter what it is. Just build it. If you want like smaller guided practice, Wes Boss has something called JavaScript 30. I love it. It's 30 days of really small projects that you can build with full solutions and everything. So I like that. That's a really good place to start. Like if you want to start building like practical stuff that's fun, it's a good one. Like you'll build like a drum kit, a clock, a bunch of other cool stuff. Knight said, I applied for a job I know I'm not prepared qualified for, just to see if they respond. Would it be a good idea to go to an interview just to get a feel how they go? Yes, always take interviews. You can practice. Absolutely. Cool, folks. All right, welcome back. Oh, Bugaboo redeemed a posture check. That's a good one. I needed one. My back's starting to hurt. All right, I'm back. Posture's checked. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a good break. Hope you got the things done you needed to get done. Let's get a moving. All right. Show us your calendar, Leon. I wish I could. I'm just afraid somebody's like private information would be on there. I can like do one day and then show it, but it's basically everything's filled. Like everything's scheduled. Some days I have like on Mondays I have 20 meetings, like back to back to back to back to back. It's pretty wild. Minecraft's a coming. I got a server running. I just gotta make sure it's all good. All right, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. It's Reptile's called JavaScript 30 by Wes Boss. Yeah. All right. Not fitting you in. This is the highlight of some of my days. I love being here with y'all. Like I said, the day that I had to record the lecture by myself for YouTube, that sucked so hard. That was like the worst thing I've ever done. I don't know how people record tutorials. That just sucks. Like having you all here and like asking questions and like participating, like that makes this like a way more enjoyable experience. So I appreciate you all coming, learning, putting in the hard work after a long day. I know you got other things that you could be doing, other things you could be thinking about. And so I love that you give me your time to learn and for us to push. And so I think it's really cool. Straight jacket. Thank you. Hydrate. If you're new and just joining us after the break, welcome. Go ahead and do ! slides in chat for the slides. If you want all the materials that we're about to start using, ! Discord in chat will get you access to our Discord channel. Agree to all the rules, and then you'll see a follow along materials channel open up. You can grab all the materials from there. All right. So let's get started. If you're new and haven't followed yet, go ahead and give a follow. That more folks can see the free bootcamp. All right. Chat, what's the best television show of all time? We all know the answer now. We're all comfortable with the answer. Yes. Still Fargo. I love it. Pete and Pete, that's a good one. That's a good one. We've been there, yeah. Blah, blah, blah said that hurt to say. Charlene Gang, Chaos. I love it. The Office, The Wire. All of these are wrong except for The Bachelor. It's definitely The Bachelor. All right, so last class we looked at Bachelor Code 1 and 2. I want to quickly look at those, and then let's do number 3 because we didn't get a chance to do number 3. So I'm going to pull it up, and I know that these were difficult. I know these are difficult. I know that these were asking a little bit more than what you probably felt comfortable doing, and that's okay. Like, I want you to experience it, to see it, to come back to it, but don't get down on yourself if these things didn't click right away. These are definitely things that demand repetition. All right, so let's look at the first one. I'm going to open this in the browser. All right, so we know that in Juan Pablo's season of The Bachelor, the most controversial season of The Bachelor for real, the final rose went to Nikki, the pediatric nurse, I believe from Sacramento, or no, Claire's from Sacramento. Claire's from Sacramento. She's a hairdresser in Sacramento. So the final rose went to Nikki. It was controversial because Juan Pablo didn't propose. He just gave her the rose and then said, we can kind of keep this thing going. They didn't ever wind up getting married. The final rose was given to Nikki. So what I want to have happen is when I click on final rose, I unfortunately want Claire and Charlene to disappear. Okay. So I clicked on final rose. Boom. Nikki's here. So if we look at the code, we know just from like talking out loud about our pseudocode that there's two things that have to happen. We need Jelani said yeet it. We know that there's a Smurf that's listening for that click on final rose, and once we hear that click on the final rose, we need to hide Claire and Charlene's image. Okay, so here is, we're gonna say look in the DOM, find the text of final rose, add an event listener to it so that whenever somebody clicks on that text final rose, it runs the set of instructions called hide. And then all the set of instructions told it to do was to find Claire's image and Charlene's image and then set the display property to none. So what that's going to do is when it sets something to display none, it's going to be removed from the DOM and we won't see it. So when we clicked on final rose, Claire and Charlene got yeeted. Cool. Let's look at the other one. Just quick review so we remember what they were. Let's look at number 2. Okay, let's open it in the browser. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. There we go. Open it in the browser. All right. So here I wanted you to have the choice, right? I wanted you to have the choice over who the next bachelorette should have been. We all know the next bachelorette should have been Charlene, but here you get to make the choice. Reptar, the best place to find all these commands would be the MDN. They have really good walkthroughs of all of them. All right. So here you can pick your own bachelorette. Andy, the district attorney or associate district attorney from Atlanta, Claire, the hairdresser from I believe Sacramento, and of course Charlene, the opera singer. So you get to pick who the next bachelorette should have been. But something interesting is happening. So Charlene is here now. I'm going to click on Claire. Charlene disappeared and Claire came up. So this one was difficult because we needed to hide anyone that was there and show the person that we clicked on. And so this one, I think we spent a lot of time on because it's very confusing. It's very difficult, but there's a lot of like fundamental things that you're going to see pop up everywhere. So let's go back to the code. We can see up here, we created some variables. We said, hey, Andy's image, we're going to set it equal to Andy. Thank you to Flo. I'm going to hydrate. I said that Andy's image is going to be set equal to Andy. Claire's image is going to be set equal to Claire, and Charlene's image is going to be equal to Charlene. So wherever I use Andy, that's really just Andy's image from the browser, from the DOM, from that rendering of the HTML and CSS. So it's just a variable, so I don't have to keep writing document.querySelector Andy, document.querySelector Claire, document.querySelector Charlene. It's going to save me a lot of time by having these variables that just point to DOM elements. Okay. Next, I knew that I was clicking on 3 different pieces of text, so I needed 3 different event listeners, right? I needed 3 different event listeners. And if I have 3 different event listeners that are firing 3 different sets of instructions. Well, I needed those sets of instructions. So here's the sets of instructions if they clicked on Andy's text. Here's a set of instructions if they clicked on Claire's text. And here is the set of instructions if they clicked on Charlene's text. Now, all this is new. If this is mind melding you, that's okay. Absorb it, see it. That way, next time you see it, you know, okay, this is what this is doing. Hey, Sina, welcome. All right. So here I'm saying document.getElement by ID Claire, or document.querySelector Claire. Remember that's the variable holding that value, right? And what I am saying here is find that element and add the class of hidden to it. So what's going to happen is if Claire's image was showing, we're going to add the hidden class to it, which is going to remove it, right? So add is literally just adding the class. Remove would remove it, and toggle would either add or remove it, okay? So in this case, since I know I'm clicking on Andy, I need Claire and Charlene to disappear. I knew I clicked on Andy's name, so I need Claire and Charlene to disappear. I don't know if Claire or Charlene are visible. I don't care. They could be, they couldn't. I'm just cleaning up in case they are on the screen. If Claire and Charlene are on the screen when I click on Andy, I need them to be hidden. And then the last thing I do is I tell Andy, hey, if you already have the hidden class, remove it so that Andy will show. If Andy is showing, the toggle is going to add the hidden class, making Andy disappear. Okay? So class list is super versatile. It gives us a lot of stuff that really makes working with elements a lot easier, right? With class list, we can add classes to our elements. We can remove classes. We can toggle classes. And that gives us a lot of functionality as we're seeing here, right? Like all of this is accomplished because we have class lists. So we can start having all this really good behavior and interaction because of class lists. So remember, Chrono, I'm not clicking on the images. I'm clicking on the text, right? So if we look in our HTML, we have two different things here. We have the text that we're clicking on and the images that are all hidden by default. So I'm not actually clicking on the images. I'm clicking on the text, which is hiding and showing the images. That way I don't have to worry about the text disappearing or not. So is this considered hiding or not hiding? Remember, so Redbird, what we're doing is we're adding and removing a class to the DOM, which is making the images hide or show in the browser. But as soon as I refresh, all those changes go away, and we reread the HTML and we reread the CSS. The thing we're doing here is that we're adding and removing a class that, according to CSS, makes stuff disappear. So I'm adding that class to make stuff disappear and removing that class to make stuff reappear. Okay. Yeah, pretty much they don't exist when hidden. They're disappeared. Hey, Ghost, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Going straight to Resilient Coders. Thank you. I appreciate it. Cool. Oh no, see you later, Nash. Just looking at your questions here. Yep, I'm clicking the text, and if they're hidden, they show, and if they're not hidden, they disappear. Because I'm toggling this class on and off. Think of it like a light switch, right? If you flip a light switch, and the lights are off, the lights come on. If the lights are on and you flip a light switch, the lights go off. Okay, that's all we're doing, except we're using this class here. Okay, so if I take that class and I put it on my glasses disappear, right? My glasses now have the hidden class. Okay, if I remove that hidden class from my glasses, they come back. Okay, all right, so I'm going to add the hidden class to my glasses. Classes now have hidden class. Boom, they disappear. I'm going to remove that hidden class from my glasses. Boom, they come back. Okay. Now let's make it a little bit different. Let's now, when I click on my microphone, when I click on, do it in slow-mo again. When I click on my microphone, I'm going to add the hidden class to my glasses. You ready? Boop, clicked on my microphone. Hidden class is now added to my glasses. They go away. The only way to bring my glasses back is for me to click on the microphone again, boop, and the hidden class is removed, and my glasses come on back. Now, instead of the microphone being the thing that we're clicking on these pieces of text. And when I click on these pieces of text, we're either adding the hidden class to the image or we're removing the hidden class from the image. Okay? That's all we're doing. Is whenever we click, we're either adding or removing it. Now, now the thing that makes this a little bit weird or a little bit difficult to understand, I think, is that what if Claire is already there on the screen and I click on Charlene, right? What if Claire's already there and I click on Charlene? I still want Charlene to come into position, but I want Claire to go away. It's time for Claire to go. Okay. All right, it's time for Claire to go away. Okay. So what I am doing is whenever I click on somebody's name, I am by default, doesn't matter if they're on the screen or not, I'm going to hide them. So if I click on Charlene, I am hiding Claire and Andy regardless if they're there, because I don't know. I'm not keeping track of it. They might be or they might not be, right? So when I click on Charlene, I'm going to get Andy and Claire off the screen. Okay? Now, the only thing I have right now that we've been using to get stuff on and off the screen is that hidden class. So all I'm going to do is whenever I click on Charlene, I'm going to add that hidden class to Andy. I'm going to add that hidden class to Claire. I'm going to add that hidden class to my glasses, and they're going to go away. Okay? Right? So that's all that's happening there. Now, for the last person, Charlene, I'm doing toggle. And the only reason I'm toggling is because I want to make her go away, and I definitely want to make her come back. Go away, come back. So that's all toggle is doing there. Toggling is saying, hey, if they're already there, right? If the glasses are already on, make them go away. If they're already away, make them come back. All right? That's all toggle's doing. But instead of it being add and remove, we use this special thing called toggle. All toggle is doing is adding the hidden class if it's already there and removing the hidden class if it's not. That's all we're doing. Dork Sausage, that is an amazing question. Do all the classes in class list have to exist in your CSS folder? That is, could we have something like random? No. You can add and remove classes, but if we just added a class called Zebra, nothing would happen. The element would get the Zebra class, but there's nothing in our CSS that's making Zebra have any power. So we could add a bunch of random classes that just don't do anything. It would still add them and remove them. We just wouldn't see anything change. Kind of looking through questions real quick here. Yeah, we would need to like give them a value. So we could add them, right? Because if we look at the DOM, let's look at the DOM and see how this is working out, okay? Let's look at the DOM. I'm going to open up the inspector here by Charlene. And let's look at the images. Let's look at these images. If I hid the entire screen, and you all started randomly clicking and I couldn't see anything, and all I can see right here, I know what image is visible right now. Okay? I know what image is visible right now because there's only one image that doesn't have the hidden class. The only person that doesn't have the hidden class right now is Charlene. So I could close my eyes, you could click all you want, and I could look and be like, oh, Charlene's visible right now because Claire and Andy have hidden. That's it, right? But if, say, Charlene had hidden and Andy didn't, well, then I know Andy's visible. Or if all three of them didn't have the hidden class, then I would say, whoa, all three of them are now visible, right? So we're actually adding and removing these classes to the DOM, which can trigger the CSS to do things. Cool. I know this is a doozy. I know that this is a hard mental jump to make because we've only been learning this stuff for a couple of days, but there's a lot here. So what I want every single one of you to do is to come back to this code on your own time, right? Come back to this on your own time. Try deleting it and try getting it all working. If it doesn't work, redo it, bring back up the example. You can comment it out, whatever you need to do, but come back and revisit this so that you can start to see, all right, class list does this, add event listeners do that, and so you can build back up to it. So if I click on Andy 100 times, would Claire have the hidden class 100 times? Last avatar, no, because class list can take stock as to whether or not it already has it. You could theoretically do it to keep adding classes. So technically, yes, but probably not in the scenario that we're looking at right here. Cool. All right. Deep breath. Let's look at the third one. All right. I'm going to open it in the browser. All right. So here are two individuals, Claire and Nikki. They made it to the final, and then someone was given the final rose. Okay. Nikki was given the final rose, even though they didn't eventually get married. He didn't propose. Big deal, right? But Claire did not get the final rose. So if you were to click on Claire, I want this to alert wrong. Okay. But if you click on Nikki, I want it to show her photo. Okay. And the interesting thing about this code is that both of the H2s that we can click on, they both have the class of contestant, but only one of them has the class of rose. So what I want to do is I want to have an event listener that's listening to both of these H2s. And when it hears a click on either of them, checks to see if the thing I clicked on has the class of rose. All right. Because if it has the class of rose, I know I clicked on Nikki, who did get the final rose, and I should show her image. Now, this is a difficult one, folks. This is like wild out there, wild sauce. Okay. I know this is difficult. If this is difficult, you're going to come back and redo it, right? That's okay. Give yourself that breathing room. But for folks that can push a little bit, I want you to push right now. Okay. Let's look at our JavaScript. Don't worry. We're gonna slow it down. After this, we're gonna slow it down. We're gonna slow it way down. Okay. After this one, we're gonna slow it down. Okay. All right. There's a lot of odd stuff in here. I want folks to take a solid 2 minutes to revisit this one. All right. I want you to take a solid 2 minutes to revisit this one. Okay. If you didn't do it for homework, that's okay. Take 2 minutes to look at it now. Get a night, look around, poke things, plug some stuff into it. Take 2 minutes, and then we're going to go over it together. Okay? 2 minutes, we're going to go over it together. Take your 2 minutes. All set, we're going to redo. Love the hustle. Love the hustle. The pseudocode for this one would be that I'm going to click on either H2, and then if the one of the H2s I clicked has the class of rose, I will show the image. If not, I'll alert wrong. KCOS, I love that pseudocode. A lot of folks did it for homework. That's okay. I like that you're redoing it for the hustle. Oh, I didn't start it. Jeez. All right, boom. There we go. 2 minutes. Miss Turner, no. This is a hard one. Don't beat yourself up over this one. This is hard. This is for folks that want to push. Don't beat yourself over this not making sense. That's okay. This is more advanced. There's a lot of stuff going on here that we haven't talked about that you would have no idea what it is, but it's just so we can see it. I want this idea to be in your head, right? We unlocked the community goal of 2 more classes. I need these ideas to be percolating. I need this syntax for something that you've seen. I need to explain it to you once, and then we're going to explain it again, and then we're going to see it somewhere else in the future. So a lot of this stuff, especially the more difficult stuff, it's okay if you don't get it, right? It's okay. It's all right. It's going to click eventually, and we'll come back to it. Make sure you're going over it by yourself after class or on your own time. That way when we do get to it again in the next 2 classes, it's not completely stressful. Okay, yeah, I was just giving folks 2 minutes to kind of get comfortable with it again. That's all. Just 2 minutes in case folks hadn't seen it since Tuesday. I want to give folks a second to do it, a second to look at it again, and we're going to go over it together. Okay. And if you are feeling behind, that's okay. Come to office hours. We won't have office hours this Saturday, but I'm probably going to sneak office hours in sometime next week before the Saturday office hours. You all get there. Don't worry. They're going to be there for everyone, and this is super important. I'm going to wait for 20 seconds, and I'm going to say something that's really important. Give people the 20 seconds, and then I'm going to say something that's really important everybody needs to hear. I'm also thirsty. Thank you, Straight Jacket. Thank you, Bugaboo. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. All right. So, important concept. Some stuff, when it comes to code, is going to come easy, and some stuff is going to come really freaking hard. A lot of it comes to mental models that you already have, based on things that you've experienced that aren't even related to code. For some folks, CSS comes naturally. The visual aspect of it just comes a little bit easier. For some folks, CSS is the hardest thing they'll ever experience. For some folks, when they get to JavaScript, it's completely overwhelming. There is going to be something that clicks really easy for you that doesn't click for everyone else. And there are going to be things that take a lot more effort for some other folks. So you got to make sure that you're not beating yourself down because some things people are getting faster, some things people are getting slower. Everyone's going to have these things that come a little bit easier or a little bit harder based on past experience. It doesn't have to be code. It's like how we've solved problems in the past. So just putting that out there. If you're feeling like this is super overwhelming, that's okay. I guarantee you something in the future and the next bootcamp is going to come way easier to you than it will come to someone else. And you have to constantly be willing to forgive yourself and keep moving. Okay? All right. Okay. So welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Let's look at this. All right. Query Selector All, something new. We haven't seen that yet. We know what Query Selector does. Query Selector selects the first element for the match. Query Selector All is going to select all of the matches. So I'm going to put my class in here for contestant. Right? So that's my class, contestant. If I go ahead and look at my HTML, both my H2s have the class contestant. So what Query Selector All does is it grabs both of them. Okay? Query Selector All grabs both of them. Okay? It would grab any of them that had the contestant class, but since there's only 2 things that have the contestant class, Query Selector All grabs both of the things that have the contestant class. Now, this wild piece of code right here that should make absolutely no sense except for this piece right here. All this piece of code is doing is it's moving through each of the things that have the contestant class and adding an event listener to it. That's all it's doing. It's adding an event listener to each thing that has the contestant class. So I'm going to go ahead and place here, check for rows. Oops, sorry, I have my pen in my, I don't know. There we go. Check for rows. All right. That's all that's happening here is that we're putting an event listener, we're putting a Smurf on every H2 that had that class. Okay. If you did the reading, that was from homework, you have seen some of the stuff that's here. You've seen these arrow functions that are part of the newer stuff from JavaScript. Okay. And so what we're doing here is we're actually looping through, right? All this code is saying is loop through everything that has that contestant class and put a Smurf on it. Put an event listener that's listening for a click on it. That's all we did. So we selected everything that had that class and we put an event listener on everything that had that class. Okay. We'll come back to this code in the future. When we come back for the next 2 classes, we'll come back to this. So don't worry about it for now. Just know that all that code's doing is adding an event listener to each thing that had the contestant class. So imagine we had 100 things and we wanted each thing to be clickable, but there's 100 of them, just like there's about to be 100 devs. Am I right? Right? If we wanted each of them to have an event listener, we don't want to have to sit here for an hour. We don't have to sit here for an hour typing document.querySelector.contestant1 add event listener click. Then document.querySelector contestant2 add event listener click. We don't want to have to sit there and do that. It would take us an hour to set up all the event listeners, right? So what this does is it sets up all the event listeners for us in 2 lines of code. So what would have been 100 lines of code, right, is now 2. Boom. All right. So that's all we did. We set up event listeners. And now what we want to see is, hey, whenever that click fires, right, whenever that click fires, I want to check if the thing I clicked on has the class rows. Because if the thing I clicked on has the class rows, I know I clicked on Nikki and I should show her image. But if the thing I clicked on does not have rows, I clicked on Claire and I want to alert wrong. So what this line of code here is doing is it's saying, all right, the thing that you just clicked on, right? Click.target. All click.target means is, hey, the thing that you just clicked on, right? So it could be either the first H2 or the other H2. There's the only 2 things I could have clicked on. The thing you just clicked on, check its classes, and does it contain, and what are we looking for? We're looking for rows. We're looking for rows. So does the thing we clicked on have the class rows? If it has the class rows, go ahead and toggle hidden on Nikki. Remember, hidden is the class that's stopping Nikki from being seen, the image from being seen. So go ahead and toggle hidden. And if the thing we clicked on does not have the class rows, well then go ahead and alert wrong. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Wrong. Nikki. All right, so it is working. Now, I see your questions in chat. The instant question that some folks are going to ask here, and I see people already asking it, why does rows and hidden not need the dot? Kakoff's got it already. The reason why rows and hidden do not need a dot is because we've already said that we're looking at classes. We already said class list. So we're already looking at classes. We don't need to tell JavaScript look for the, we already said class. We don't need to tell it to look for the class again. Okay. So here we're just using rows and hidden because we already said that they're both classes, right? But up here, we haven't said that it's a class yet, so we need the dot. So whenever you're using class list, you won't need the dots again. But whenever you're using query selector or query selector all, you're definitely still going to need the dots. Mind blown to Rossi. I love it. So query selector is only for grabbing stuff from the DOM. It won't help us look at classes or anything like that. 808 said that period is the only thing wrong in my entire damn code. Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that for sure. I can't tell you how many times I've banged my head against my keyboard only to realize that I had a dot somewhere it shouldn't have been. Yeah, it's part of it. You're a developer now. How I remember all of these rules, the code planner, because you're going to use space repetition like Anki, and you're going to put these things into Anki, and you're going to actively recall them as we're learning them. And then every day you're going to do Anki with your spaced repetition so you don't forget stuff. Remember, Anki and any tool that helps with spaced repetition flattens the forgetting curve so you don't forget these stuff over time. And you're also going to start building more stuff. And the more stuff you build, the more you come into this stuff, and the easier it is to remember. Boom. Thank you, Alyssa. Study tips. If you go to that link, some really great ways to evidence-based study tips to help you not forget stuff and to learn more effectively. Straight Jacket. Yes, I love JS Fiddle. I love CodePen. I don't like them for beginners, though. I want you to get used to your tools, right? If you're going to spend all your time in Atom as an actual software engineer, get used to it now. So I always like to do my work in with my actual tools in the environment where I'm going to be writing my actual code. That way I learn all of the mechanics, all the little things that are going to help me as I start writing real code. So yeah, I like using JS Fiddle and CodePen for when I need people to like look at my code. But if I'm writing code, I'm going to be doing it in my actual editor. That way I get used to it over time. Mr. Turner said, how do I follow along and do Anki? 35 pounds from stress eating. No. It does get less stressful, I hope, as we go along. In the beginning, especially when if this is your first like actual programming language, all of this is just like, what? Like, I just think of like the mind blown gif. I understand that. It gets easier with time, trust me. Yeah, rewatching could be a big help. Yeah, so that's a big thing. El Reneto said, when I moved from CodePen, I struggled to figure out where to put my stuff. I see that all the time. I can't tell you how many people have like gone into interviews but didn't like know the basics. So I'm a big advocate of using your tools, of not using anything that helps you early on until you know why you need it. So I don't even like hinters or linters early on. I don't like anything that like automatically refreshes your page early on. I think you need to get used to those mechanics, and then you can add stuff to help you later on. All right. We're almost hitting the 2-hour mark. I want to move on. I know this was difficult. Trust me, I know this is difficult. I know we pushed here a little bit. So if you got it, super kudos to you. If you're still struggling a little bit with that concept, that's okay. That was a little bit more advanced. You're going to come back and redo it on your time, and it's going to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you're going to come to office hours. You're going to ask in our Discord for help. That way, myself and all the other lovely mentors can help make that concept make sense. Cool. All right, I'm going to close out the bachelor code. Whoop. And we're going to move on to functions. All right. Hey, Cross brought up the facts. Cross said, don't get stuck in that trough of sorrow. There's a lot of us right there with you. We'll get out with time. Absolutely. Welcome, welcome, folks. Your letter is in the mail. Welcome to the trough of sorrow. You're in it. Welcome. You've rode up Udemy Hill. You've crashed down to the other side. You're in the trough. Congratulations. Now it's time to get out of it. Put in the work. Let's go. All right, what are functions? Functions are just simple sets of instructions, all right? 100 devs of sorrow. I live in. I got to put like the Bane mask on. I was born in it, right? From Batman. All right. Functions are just simple sets of instructions. We've been using them plenty already. There are some things that come as a best practice when you're using functions. Yes, they are simple sets of instructions. We use functions because they're reusable. If I want to do an action over and over and over again, right? If I want to do an action over and over and over again, I don't want to have to write out the same code over and over and over again. Typically, a function should really only perform like one action well, and that's kind of it. And we like to think of functions as like the basic building blocks of our program. A lot of the programs we're going to write are a lot of functions that do a lot of stuff or the heavy lifting for us. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. So follow along. It's going to be a little bit weird. If I asked you to put a pot on the stove, fill it with water, put peas into the water, let the peas sit there for 12 hours, pour out the water, and stop, what have I just asked you to do? It's a weird question. I know it's a weird question. What did I just destroy some peas? What did I just ask you to do? Ooh, blah, blah, blah. Got it first. Soak. I asked you to soak peas. I didn't turn on the stove. All right? That was the gotcha. I didn't turn on the stove. I just put the put the pot on the stove. I filled it with water, put the peas in the water, let it sit for 12 hours, dumped out the water. I soaked the peas. Now, what if I worked in a kitchen and this could be a really crappy kitchen. Let's say I worked in a kitchen and every day I had to soak peas for dinner service. All right? Every day I had to soak peas for dinner service. Will the head chef, should the head chef have to come up to me and say, hey, Leon, put the pot on the stove, fill it with water, put the peas in, let the peas sit for 12 hours, pour the water out, and leave the pot there? Right? No. The chef isn't going to tell me that. The chef is going to say, soak the peas and then do something else with them. Right? So we already use functions every single day of our lives. Right? We use functions all the time. And those functions speed up the process of doing stuff because we already have a nice reusable set of instructions that can perform that action. Okay? So when somebody says soak, next time I want you to think of me and say, damn right, that's a function. So whenever somebody says soak, that's the keyword. And be like, damn, Leon told me about this. This is a function. Right? So Nick said Daisy said you can always catch me at the functions. I love it. Right? So we already are used to using functions. Now we're going to start to use them in our code. We're going to have simple sets of instructions that can be reused and perform typically one singular action. All right, here's what a function is going to look like. We've already seen them a couple of times. Function has a few really important pieces. We have the function keyword. This lets us know, right? This lets us know that, hey, we're creating a function. We're going to name our function. We're going to have some parentheses that open and close. Don't worry about this yet. And then we have curly braces that open and close. This is our function. Okay. Then if we want, remember, a function is a set of instructions. If we want to run those sets of instructions, right? If we want those sets of instructions to actually do something, we need to call that set of instructions. So a function is just going to sit by itself, not doing anything until it is called. Once it is called, then that function will run. Okay. Here is a function called yell. All this function does is it's going to alert something, like it's going to have a pop-up. Okay. So here's the function yell. It's not going to do anything. It's happy to sit there until the function is called. To call a function, you need the name of the function, parentheses that open, and parentheses that close. Okay? That's the only way a function will run. Functions are happy to sit there forever, not doing anything. You need to call them for them to run. Okay? Now, functions get a little bit more tricky because you can pass stuff into them, right? What if I had a function called soak, right? We all have a function called soak, but that function is agnostic of the thing that we want to soak, meaning that we know how to soak stuff, right? As humans, we know how, I'm getting real close. As humans, we know how to soak stuff, right? We can soak peas. We can soak carrots. We can soak, I don't know, what else can we soak? We can soak beans. We can soak rice. I don't know why you would soak your rice, but we can do it, right? We can soak stuff. We have a function called soak. We know how to perform that action, okay? But we're going to pass different stuff into that function. Sometimes we're going to pass peas in and we're going to soak them. Sometimes the chef is going to yell at us and say, soak those carrots, and we're going to soak the carrots. Sometimes the chef is going to yell at us and say, soak the beans. Okay? Soak the micro-leons, right? Sometimes we're going to soak something else, okay? Did the function soak change? No. We just pass new stuff into it, okay? So we already know how functions work. You know how functions work. You use them all the time. Don't let this syntax confuse you. You know how to soak stuff, and you know how to pass different stuff into that soak function. Let me show you the syntax of how we do it in JavaScript. Okay? So here is our function called soak. And here is us running that soak function. Okay? Sometimes we're going to want to pass in peas. I just spelled peas wrong live. That's what just happened. I just spelled peas wrong. Sorry about that. Sometimes we're going to pass in peas. Sometimes we're going to pass in, I don't know, carrots. Right? Sometimes we're going to pass in different things. When we are passing things into a function, we call the things that we're passing in arguments. The way I remember what is an argument is that what I just circled here is called a function call. Right? What I just heard here is called a function call. So I have a very healthy relationship with my mother, but let's pretend we didn't. So I'm going to call my mom. And whenever I call my mom, we're going to argue. Okay? We're going to argue. Whenever I call my mom, we're going to argue. We don't ever argue. I love my mom. My mom's the best person on this earth. Right? Mom, Angie, Charlene, they kind of all exist in that category. Right? So When I call my mom, we're going to argue. Right? We're going to argue. Right? So that's how I remember it. When I call, I'm going to argue. I'm going to pass something into that function. I could be passing in peas when I argue. I could be passing in carrots when I argue. Right? But I'm going to pass something into that function. That was Simba, Miss Turner. Yeah. I'm going to pass something into that function. That function needs a bucket, right? That function needs a bucket that can catch what we're passing in, right? The bucket that catches the thing we're passing in is called parameters. Okay? That's all parameters are. Parameters are buckets. Okay? So you can just imagine there's a big old bucket up here. So if I pass in peas, I spelled it again wrong. Jesus. If I pass peas in as an argument, it falls into the parameter up here, right? It falls into the bucket. That's all it is. So we have functions. Functions don't run until you call them. When you call a function, you're going to argue. You're going to pass in arguments. We're going to pass in peas. We're going to pass in carrots, right? And we're going to need buckets called parameters that can hold the values that we pass in. Okay? Let's take a look at an example. Let's get out of Theory Town. Let's look at something here. All right. Here is a function that is going to alert two words. There's going to be two pop-ups. Okay? So I need to pass in two words that are going to be part of the pop-up. So here's my function. And what is this right here? What is this, chat? What is that? What is that, chat? Bugaboo came in first. 808 coming up next. It's a function call. Perfect. It's a function call. Well done, chat. What are these? What are each of those separated by commas? What are each of those? I call my mom to argue, right? They're both arguments. Those arguments are going to fall into our what is word and what is other word? What is word and other word? What are those? They are our buckets, absolutely. And what is the term that we give them? Parameters. Yes, they are parameters. So hello is going to fall into our first parameter of word, and goodbye is going to fall into our other parameter, other word. Wherever I see word inside this function, what does it represent? Wherever I see word inside my function, what does it now represent? It's what is that bucket holding? What is that bucket holding? Yeah, it's holding hello. And wherever I see other word inside this function, what is it holding, chat? What is other word holding inside this function? Goodbye. Nice. So we get rid of all of the mad in here. I'm going to... Oh, God dang it. I did it again. There you go. All right. Boom. Anywhere I see word, I know it's hello. And anywhere I see other word, I know it's goodbye. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to alert hello. Then we're going to alert goodbye. So I should see a pop-up that has the word hello in it. And then I should have a pop-up that has the alert that has goodbye in it. Posture check. Nice. I needed one too. All right. Posture check. All right, hold on. Let me get the mic right. There we go. All right. Good posture check. Hey, posture check is posture check. Stretching is a whole different beast. All right. All right. We did word and other word. So this is how functions work, right? We can call a function and then we can pass in arguments. Our arguments fall into parameters, and then anywhere we see those parameters, those are the buckets holding the values. No, not lag. No. Refresh, refresh. No lag. All right. Let's get to a point where the lag won't work. I'm not seeing anything on my end for lag. So I think this is a Twitch issue. I think this is a Twitch thing because I see it on my end when it starts to go bad. All right. What I want to do now is let's open up. Thank you, Izzy. Let's go ahead and open up our simple functions code, please. If you're new and following along, you can do !Discord in our chat. And what !Discord will do is if you agree to the rules of the Discord channel, you'll get access and you'll see the follow along materials channel and get all the materials that we're about to run through right now. All right. Whoop. All right, let's take a look here. Index.html and some JavaScript. And I'm going to open this in, there's nothing really to open in the browser. We're just going to go straight to the JavaScript, okay? This word has gotten to my head. All right, so there's 3 challenges here. First, I want you to create a function that adds 2 numbers and alerts the sum. So that means you're going to need to create a function that takes in 2 arguments and adds those 2 arguments together. Then I want you to create a function that multiplies 3 numbers and console logs the product. So you need a function that takes in 3 numbers and multiplies them together. And then I want you to create a function that divides 2 numbers and returns the remainder. The remainder. I don't know why I put triple question marks there. Remainder. Cool. So this is difficult. This is gonna be difficult. Look at the example we had in the slides. Look at the example. If you don't know what the example was, you have a function. You give it a name, maybe add. Give it some parameters. Z, X, Y. Do some stuff. And then call it. I am going to put 3 minutes on, I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock. I want people to give it a shot. 3 minutes on the clock. I want you to give it a shot. Try it. Try doing it. Even if you can't get it, that's okay. Give it a try. We'll go over it in 3 minutes together. Give it your all. Go, 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 go. Try building these simple functions. Go for it. Put some music on for you to relax to. If you're new here, don't worry about modifying any HTML. Just build out the functions here in the JavaScript. I don't care anything about the HTML. Just JavaScript for me, please. If you're new and you want to follow along, you can do ! Slides in the chat. That'll give you the slides for today. If you want the materials that everyone's working through right now, you can do !Discord. They'll give you access to our Discord channel. You agree to the rules. There's a follow along materials channel. You can get all the starter code for today to follow along. We're running a free boot camp here. Happy to join. Yes, Charles, you can declare and set it equal to something in the same line. Oh, Kayla done already. That was a minute. That was a minute. What? Chaz, please. You're already done. Nice. Izzy's a Dane now. Oh, Chaz, you've been practicing your function. That's cool. There you go. Well done, Izzy. Well done. Well done. De Jesus is making sure you put in work. Okay, Kayla. Law done. 808 done. Straight jacket done. Mir says they're lying. Dunzo. You're on my Dunzo list. Look. No, you're not. You're on my, I don't know, whatever the opposite of a Dunzo list is. All right, minute left, folks. Minute left. Give it your all. Push, push, push. Cakeoffs is done. Well done. We're going to go over these together, and then we're going to take a quick break. We'll go over them together, and we're going to take a quick break. I'm probably going to need to go to the bathroom. "25 seconds, folks." Diabolical's done. Nice. Days, I gotta hydrate waiting for you when you get back. Dealer's choice. Dealer's choice, Bugaboo, for the last one. All right, folks, come on back. Come on back. Ooh, K-Doge, Miriam, and Lightstripe all coming in at the buzzer. Well done, folks. All right, let's go over these together. Put my pen down. You got them set up, Miss Turner? That's great. All right, let's go ahead and create a function that adds two numbers and alerts the sum. So I'm going to use my function keyword. Since this is going to add two numbers, I'm going to be really descriptive with my function name. Add two nums. I like to code everything out and then come back in. Especially in the beginning, I like to make sure my parentheses are closed. Whoops, sorry, music. I like to close out my parentheses. I like to close out my curly braces. It's just a habit I picked up early on that saved me a lot of headache. I can't tell you how many times people ask me to look at their code because it's not working and they forgot a curly brace. So I like to close everything out and then I come back in. I know that this function is going to take in two numbers, so I'm going to call my parameters num1 and num2. It's taken in two numbers, so why not call them num1 and num2? And then I need to alert the sum. So there's a couple ways we could have done this. I think the easiest one would be to just do an alert and then do num1 plus num2. That should work, right? It should do the addition and then alert it. So let's go ahead and try it. I'm going to call it. So I'm going to do add two nums, and I'm going to pass in 2 and 3. So if this works, we should see it alert 5. Let's go ahead and save. And let me open this in the browser. There we go. So we see 5 being alerted. I know it's kind of hard. I don't know if I can make that bigger. We can see 5 was now alerted to the browser. Cool. So that worked. You might have been able to do it one other simple way too. You could have maybe created a variable called sum and then alerted that variable. Like we could have done something like this. We could have done like let sum equal num1 plus num2 and then just alert it sum. Like if you wanted to add an extra step here, not saying we need to do an extra step here, but that's something that some other folks might have tried. For now, let's just leave it the simple way though. That way we're not trying to trip anybody up. Cool. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Create a function that multiplies 3 numbers and console logs the product. So let's go ahead and do function keyword because we know we're creating a function. Oops, sorry, my timer went off again. All right, here we go. Let's create a function. I'm going to call it multi3 nums, multi3 num, right? because that way it's a little bit more descriptive. Like I know I'm going to multiply 3 numbers. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and give myself 3 parameters, 1 for each of the numbers. And so let me do num1, num2, and num3. And inside, we're going to console log the product. So I'm going to go ahead and do num1. And then we do multiplication, remember, with an asterisk. Num2, whoop, and then num3. Cool. So that should work. But this won't run yet. Why won't multi3num run? Why is it not going to run right now, chat? Why won't this run? I haven't called it. Yes, well done, well done. So let me go down here and call this function. Multi3num. And let me pass in 3 different numbers. Let me do 2. Let me do 5. And let me do 10. So 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100 for 100 devs coming right at you soon. Coming soon. See what I did there? All right, let's run this. Let me go back to my browser. Let me refresh. All right, so we got 5 from the first function call. And then, oh, I remember I console logged it. Look, where'd it go? And there we go. A nice 100 dev in the console log. Oh, yeah. All right, let's do the last one together, please. De Nova Stella, if it works out well, I'm happy to keep running it. All right. Create a function that divides 2 numbers and returns the remainder. So let's go ahead and create a function here. As soon as I saw that I want the remainder, what did you know that I need it, chat? What do I need for this to work? JS is right here. What do I need for this to work? Yeah, modulus. So I'm going to call this num mod num. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a number mod a number, right? So let's go ahead and give it 2 numbers. I'm going to call the parameters num1 and num2. And then I didn't say console log or alert. Let's do an alert here. And let's do num1. And then let's do our modulus num2. And then let's call it so that it'll run. Num mod num. And let's do a simple one. Let's do like 10, and then let's do modulus 5. So we no, let's do one that we actually have a remainder. Let's do 10 mod 7. There we go. Let's save it. Prime Rich already knows the answer. I love it. Why won't this work though? What did I do here? This is very common that I see a lot of my students do. Why is this not going to run? Why is this a mistake? What did I do wrong here? Yeah, this is really common. People like to do the math here. Like, no, these are just your arguments, right? Don't try to do anything here. These have to get passed into the function. There you go. Arguments are always separated by commas inside the arguments, right? 'Cause remember, this 10 is going to go into num1, and this 7 is going to go into num2. Don't do anything. Yeah, don't do the function's job. Make sure that you're doing all the work inside the function. Cool. Let's save this. Let's go back and make sure everything's working. So I'm going to give it a refresh. All right, we get a 5 that's alerted. We get 100 in the console, and we get a 3 that's alerted because 10 mod 7 is 3. Cool. Going to leave this code up for a second. Leave this code up for a second. Questions while we're here, and then we're going to take a break. I know we've a little bit over 2 hours, 2 hours, 20 minutes, so I'm going to give us a break here. Any questions while we're here? Yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom bad, man. You've been making me hydrate like crazy. Whew, like wild, I should say. Sorry. Awesome. All right, let's put a slightly smaller break on the clock here. Let's do 3 minutes, folks. Three minutes. Take a 3-minute break. Oh, you sucker. Muhammad said hydrate. All right, 3-minute break. Stretch. Do what you got to do. Take some water. Hydrate. Move around. I am going to be right back because I got to go to the bathroom. Y'all made me hydrate too much. Be right back. They can make me hydrate now with channel points. All right. Got a minute and 20 seconds left, folks. Oh, I had to run. Yeah, cross those parentheses and curly braces trip me up too. That's why I always complete them and then I go back in. My wife laughed at me. I was like, "They're making me hydrate," and then I ran back to the chair. Dork sausage. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. For folks that are donating and cheering and all that stuff, everything's going as a donation to Resilient Coders. So, hey, I appreciate the support and helping support our nonprofit. Okay, semicolons are optionals now. And actually, if you do exclamation point semicolon, there's a whole article that I have about it. So if that's something you're curious about, you can do exclamation point semicolon, and there will be a whole article about why they're optional, how to use them, things like that. Oh, Alyssa already got it. Alyssa's the best mod ever. I love it. Appreciate you, Alyssa. All right, folks, come on back, come on back, come on back. All right, so we're at 2 minutes 23, 2 hours 23 minutes. I appreciate that, Alyssa. We got a few more things I want to get through tonight, and then we'll do a raid and kind of end it, and then we'll be back next week on Thursday. Remember, I'll be moving this weekend, so we won't have office hours this Saturday, but we'll be back on Thursday for the CSS3 class, the animation class. Doritos are not vegan, unless they change something up that I don't know. Takis are vegan, though. Love me some Takis. All right, let's talk about loops. Reptar had a question real quick. Question for you. When you write a function in order to not do the function's job, what exactly are you putting in the argument? Just the values that you're passing into the function. That's it. All right? If you put values as your arguments, those get passed into the function. So that's all you're doing. It's thinking of the values to put into the function. Simba is drinking and eating his dinner. Python has me hating loops right now. They can be a little weird at first. All right, so let's talk about loops, folks. Loops just enable you to repeat an action a certain number of times, okay? There are three main kinds of loops in JavaScript: for, while, and do while. And the only difference between the three is they just help you determine when you should start and stop a loop. They just do it in different ways. There are also other methods built into JavaScript, like for each and map and all those fun things that also do looping, but like the three main loops that we have are for, while, and do while. Now, you can read about all of these on the MDN. Tonight we're going to look at just for loops. For loops are interesting because it's very clear to see when they start, when they stop, and how fast they increment. Like, what do they grow by? Okay. So a for loop has an interesting syntax, and the syntax for a for loop is to set up a counter, say how long you're going to count for, and how much that counter goes up by each time. That's weird. It's weird to think through. Let me show you. So here's an example. I am setting up a counter called I, and I'm starting that counter at 1. Then I'm saying, let this loop run a number of times. So as long as I is less than 5, I want this loop to run again. And then at the end of each cycle, I want you to add 1 to I. Okay? That's all this is saying. It's saying, all right, we're going to set up a counter. I is really common because it's short for increment. And back in the day when we had very little memory, I was used pretty heavily. So I'm setting up a counter called I and starting it at 1. I'm saying, go ahead and do your loop until you hit 5, as long as you're less than 5. And every single time it runs, add 1 to I. I love CS50. I was actually, so I was an associate at Harvard for a while. I regularly lecture at Harvard quite frequently. And I've actually sat in on CS50. Great class. Cool. So that's a loop, right? Okay. What I want to do is show this loop. Okay. Let's see this working. I'm going to put it in the console real quick, just so we can see this loop in action. I'm going to copy it. I'm just going to go over here real quick and just use this console I already have open. Let me paste it and let me hit enter, and you're going to see what happens here. If I can get my head out the way, there we go. We can see that this ran 4 times. All right, ran it 4 times. It did 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. All right, because what happened when we ran this loop is we said, all right, start at 1. I feel like a weatherman. I'm trying to figure it out. Start at 1. Run each time as long as the counter is less than 5. So this was at 1, and then it said, all right, let me add 1 to 1. Now we're at 2. 2 is less than 5. Let's go again. Add 1. So we're at 3. 3 is less than 5. Let's go ahead, add 1. We're at 4. 4 is less than 5. Go ahead, add 1. And then 5 was not less than 5, so we stopped. And that's why we see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So an increase by 2 would look like this. Let me clear it again. Let me clear real quick. So a loop that increased by 2 would just be this. There you go. So now instead of increasing by 1, we're increasing by 2. Let me hit enter and run this. And so we went from 1 to 3 this time. So it skipped 2, went to 3. And then 3, it added 2 to 5, and 5 wasn't less than 5, so we stopped. So we just got 1 and 3. That's all. So loops are pretty straightforward. They enable you to repeat stuff over and over again. And the way that we do it with a for loop is you set your counter, you say how long it continues for, how much it goes up by each time, and that's it. Yes, Kozl, you can crash the browser with a loop. The disasterly thing that I do for all my in-person classes is whenever I introduce loops, I always ask them to blindly copy the code into their console and hit enter. They trust me by that point, and they always do it, and all their computers start crashing because you can create an infinite loop where this end condition is never met. And slowly but surely, your site will start consuming more and more memory, and eventually it will have to be shut down. Chrome tries to stop infinite loops from happening now, but for the longest time you could. Now, I was a little punk growing up, and I remember creating websites that had infinite loops, and I would send my friends to them because I knew it would shut off their computer. And if you remember AOL like AIM chat, I would see my friends on AIM. I would say, hey, check out this cool new website. They go to the website, and then I would see them disconnect from AIM because I knew that it had created an infinite loop and it kicked them off their computer. Yeah, I was a punk. I also got banned from AOL for a different hack, but we're not going to talk about that on the internet. This is live. This still works. You can build a site like this and send it to your friends. Chrome makes it a little bit harder now, but yeah, it works. Cool. All right, let's do an example. And open up the 21 Savage. This is recorded legal evidence. Let's go ahead and open up the 21 Savage loop code. I'm going to close this example here. And don't forget, I'll put all this on in our Discord after class. All right, here we go. I'm going to open up the index.html in the browser just so we have it open. And here we go. So this is Sir Savage, 21st of his name. And the reason why I thought of 21 Savage today is because the XXL freshman class has come out recently. If you're a hip hop head, it's an event that I look forward to every year. Hopefully find some new folks or see who they decide to put on. And the best XXL cipher of all time was 21 Savage's cipher with Little Boat, Denzel Curry, Uzi, Kodak. It's the best one of all time. It's so contentious. People either hate it or love it, but the views don't lie. The views don't lie. Show me a cipher with more views. 30 on your waist, 30 to your face, 60 to your face, 90 to your face. That's a closed case. Those are bars. Those are bars that 21 Savage came up on the spot. All right. So what I want to have happen with this bit of code, and if we look inside the JavaScript, is I want to create a function that has a loop that prints 21 times to the console. Okay? So I want you to create a Locked Muffin Locked Muffin tried putting losers in chat and it got blocked. So I want you to try creating a function that has a loop that prints 21 times to the console. Bonus points if you can get 21 to print up 21 times to the DOM. Okay, let's put 3 minutes. Let's put 3 minutes on the counter here. Now you could ban him if you want, Alyssa. You have supreme power. Three minutes. Go ahead, take 3 minutes for this, and then we'll come back and go over it together. Yeah, how do I ban people? I haven't banned anyone yet. Oh, that's easy. I banned him. Nice. That was the first ban. We've had 10 classes. I never felt the need to ban anyone. Thought we would make it the whole run. Good vibes only. Good vibes only. Got a minute 50 seconds, folks. Minute 50 seconds. Give this a good old try. I know this one's a little difficult. We just learned loops a few seconds ago. Give it a good old try. We're going to go over it, and then we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll close it out for the night. If you're new and following along, you do ! slides in chat to get the slides. If you want the code that our folks are working on right now, you can go ahead and do ! Discord in chat. And that will take you to our Discord channel. Agree to the rules, and then you'll get a follow along materials channel where you can grab all the materials from tonight. So go ahead, about a minute left, folks, minute left. We're going to go over this one together, and then we'll go over a few more things, and then we'll wind down for tonight. Let's go ahead and do 30 seconds left, 30 seconds left. If you have questions, go ahead and ask questions. Happy to talk about them while we wait. All right, 10. Oh no, the loop only prints 21 once. Sometimes if you're checking in the console, sometimes it won't show all of them. So we'll go over that. All right, let's take a look at this together, folks. Create a function. So I know I'm going to create a function first. So I'm going to do function, and I'm going to call it savage, and I want it to have a loop. Now, I didn't say that you had to like pass in 21 as like an argument. So we could have made it like an argument, and we could say 21 however many times we want, but we could hard code it. Let's make it easier first, and then we can talk about it. So I'm going to set up a counter. I like to use I for my counter, so I'll do let I equal 1. And then I'll say while I is less than or equal to 21, right? That way I know it'll go 21 times. And we'll increment I by 1 each time. And all I want it to do is console.log 21. Cool. So what it's going to do is it's going to print to the console 21 times. Let's see if this works. It's not going to work. Why won't this work? Why won't this run? Why won't this do anything? Why won't this do anything? No Callin'. It's the name of my first album. No Call. So let's call Savage. And let's run it. We'll call it. Let's save. Let's open up the console. And let's hit refresh. And so Chrome's being cheeky. It said that it did 21, and it just shows us the number on the left-hand side. Before it used to do 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. But now it just says, oh, it ran 21 times. Cool. All right. So let's see if we can get it into the DOM. Let's see if we can put it into the DOM. Okay. Let's see if we can put it in the DOM. Let's go back. Instead of it being in the console, let's target the DOM. So if we look at our HTML, I actually have an ID called Savage Says, right? That's my ID on the H2. So let me go here and target that. So let's do document dot query selector selector, and we're going to say Savage Says. Cool. So that's going to select Savage Says, and let's put inside of it inner text. And here's the trick. Instead of just setting it equal, we're going to do plus equal, because that's going to keep adding to it. So let's do plus equal, and let's do space 21 space. That way we have spaces in between the 21s. So let's save this real quick. Let's see if it works, and then I'll come back and explain it. Let's make sure this works. Let's refresh. No, didn't work. Let's check our console to see if we got any errors. We have an error in our console. Can't read property inner text of null. So that means it tried to target something, but it couldn't. So that leads me to believe that my selector is wrong. How is my selector wrong, chat? How is my query selector wrong? Boom, K-Doge got it. I don't have my octothorpe. There we go. Query selector needs the octothorpe for IDs, dots for classes, nothing for tags. So let's save it. Let's go back. Let's refresh. There we go. 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21 times. All right. 21 Savage, if you're out there, you're paying attention, let's collab. I would love to teach you how to code. All right. Cool. Let's take a look at this code. Questions while we're here? Questions while we're here? You'll never know, Ghost. You'll never know. All right, folks, let's continue on. Like I said, at the end of this stream, I'll bundle everything up and put it in the Discord channel, so you'll have all the solutions. All right, so we have one last set of code that I want you to work on tonight. We're going to call it Bring It Home. And so let's go ahead and open up the Bring It Home practice. If you go to the JavaScript, there are 2 challenges for variables, 2 challenges for functions, 2 challenges for conditionals, and a challenge for loops. Okay, we're gonna put 7 minutes on the clock. Let's make it short. I want to go over this kind of together. So let's put 5 minutes on the clock. Let's see how far you can get in 5 minutes through this example. So there are 2 challenges for variables, 2 challenges for functions, 2 challenges for conditionals, and 1 for loops. Let's make it 7. One minute for each challenge. There we go. 1 minute for each challenge. I'm going to put it on the board here, giving everybody a second to open it up. All right, and let's go. 7 minutes. The Bring It Home practice. See how far you can get? You got 7 minutes on the clock. If you're new and just following along, you can do !Discord. That'll give you access to our Discord community. Once you follow the rules, you'll see a follow along channel. You can get all the starter code that folks are looking at right now. Let's bring up some music. If you have questions, go ahead and ask those questions. Six minutes, 20 seconds left, folks. If you have questions while we're kind of working, feel free to ask those questions in the chat. Happy to answer them. Like I said, if you're new, welcome. We're working on a free web development bootcamp. If you want the slides, you can do !slides in the Discord. In the Twitch chat. And then if you want the materials, !Discord, and then I'll give you the materials for today. Charles asks, is it bad practice to use a semicolon in JavaScript? No, It's a personal preference. They became optional as we moved into the newer versions of JavaScript. And so what you can do is if you want to learn more about it, Alyssa's already got me. Exclamation point, semicolon will give you a whole article about like when to use semicolons if you want to. But yeah, they're optional. Not a bad practice. Miriam said, I'm chaining myself to this Twitch channel. No worries, Charles. Dig deep, folks. Go hard. You got this. I believe in you. Will 100 devs prepare us to do leak code problems, level, medium, and hard? You can probably by the end be pretty comfortable with mediums and like working on them, but whether or not you feel comfortable with mediums and hards will come down to you and the work that you put in outside of the stream and outside of class. I ask my students to do a coding challenge every day. So if you're following along with that idea, and let's say we're a 40-week program, right? And you've been doing one every day for 40 weeks, then yeah, you'll be ready for some mediums, hopefully. Is this stream recorded? Absolutely, Desiree. So if you wanted to follow along, you can check the VODs out here on Twitch, or if you do exclamation point YouTube, you'll see all the past episodes on YouTube as well. I figured out how to download the VODs, so they're currently uploading to YouTube actually. So class 7 is going to be up there, and then 8 and 9 and 10 will be up there later today. Been doing your Anki cards? That's awesome, Miss Turner. Mewtru with the raid. Thank you, Mew. I appreciate that. 56. Welcome, folks. We got raid. This is our first raid. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's the first raid. Do you prioritize making a portfolio first or leak code? That's an interesting question. I would say you should be doing leak codes every day, and then portfolio is a really important piece. Hey, folks. Hey, raiders. Welcome. We are doing a free coding bootcamp originally for folks affected by the pandemic. This is our last class. Mew pulled a reverse card. I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by and bringing all your friends. Welcome, raiders. Welcome. We're in the middle of a coding bootcamp, and so the current folks that are in the bootcamp have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to finish kind of all these little challenges here. They're creating functions, they're creating conditionals, they're doing loops, they're doing a bunch of fun stuff. So they're all here. Welcome, folks. This is my first raid. I appreciate it. Thank you. So all the folks that are new that hopefully just got out of the commercial, we're doing a free coding bootcamp for those affected by the pandemic. This is our 10th class. And so every day we learn a little bit more about HTML, CSS, and now we've been in the throes of JavaScript. They got 2 minutes left for this challenge, and then we're going to go over all the challenges together. Appreciate it, Mew. Ooh, Chaz, please, you got it done already. Wow. The raiders become the raided. I love it. Welcome, everyone. If you like learning JavaScript, front-end web development, back-end web development, feel free to give it a follow and hang out and learn some code. We're getting ready to launch a bigger class from 0 to employed. And so if you're interested in learning some code, hang around. They are awesome, aren't they, Ghosts? I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so we got a minute left, folks. Minute left to finish up your functions, your conditionals, your loops. If you want it to follow along, you can do exclamation point Discord in our chat. If you join our Discord and agree to all the rules, the follow along materials channel will open up for you. You can grab the zip file and have at it, trying to answer the questions yourself. Miss Turner gave me a posture check. All right. I was kind of hunching over it. That was a good one. That was a good call. gonna straighten up, get my feet on the floor, get the mic right. I started slouching towards the end. Thank you for that one. Cool. There we go. Good. I feel happy. Alrighty. 30 seconds left, folks. Dig deep, go hard. If you're done, put it in chat. Redbird, you did the first one. That's awesome. Well done. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. To all the new folks, welcome. We're doing a free web dev bootcamp, so if you ever wanted to learn how to code, this is a good place to do it. At the last second, Blah, Luck Monkey, Dashlin, all done. Well done, well done, well done. All right, folks, let's go through this together. I'm gonna move the timer over. All right. Straight Jacket got it done. Renetto got it done. Wolfpack got it done. Diabolical, nice. Knock, nice. All right, cool. Create a variable and console log the value. Let's go fast. All right, so let's create a variable. Let's do let animal equal, and let's say zebra. And then console log it. Easy. Console log animal. Cool. If we were to open this in the browser, let's go ahead and do that. And let's check our console. And there we go. We got a lovely zebra being printed to the console. Let me go ahead and turn down the music. Thank you, thank you. All right. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Oop, that's 21 Savage. All right. Create a variable, add 10 to it, and then alert the value. All right, let's go ahead and do let total. And let's just go ahead and assign it a value of 0. And then we're going to add 10 to it. So let's do total equals total. And then we'll add 10. There you go. And then let's alert the value. So let's do alert. And let's do total. Cool. There we go. Declared and assigned on the first line. Reassigned on line 7. Yeah, that'd be funny. A command to turn off the music or turn it back on. That's actually a really good idea. Micro Leons like blast music. Let's do it. All right, so let's go ahead and open this in the browser. Make sure that everything looks good. Refresh. All right, there we go. We got 10 being alerted. We added 10 to it. Cool. If you have questions, go ahead and ask them. I know these are a lot. Let's push through. Create a function that subtracts 4 numbers and alerts the difference. All right. So let's go ahead and create our function. So the function keyword. Let's go ahead, and we know that we're going to subtract 4 numbers, so I'm going to call it sub 4 num. Cool. And then we know that we're going to subtract 4 numbers. So if we're going to subtract 4 numbers, we need 4 what, folks? Chat. What do we need 4 of? We need 4 what inside this function declaration? 4 what? Nice. Creator got it. Chalice got it. Sophia got it. Bugaboo got it. Nice. We need 4 parameters. Let's do it easy. Let's be descriptive. Num1, num2, num3, and num4. There we go. So we're set up. Let's go ahead and do the math. We're going to alert. Let's not even create another function. Let's speed run this. Num1 minus num2 minus num3 minus num4. And chat, will this run? Will this function run, chat? No call. No call. I haven't argued with my mom today. No call. Sub 4 num and parentheses, and let's pass in 4 numbers. I was going to hit randomly. And I hit down. I keep hitting down. I want to hit like a random number and I hit down. That's hilarious. Let's not do that big. Let's do that. And then there you go. Cool. Let's save this and see what we get in the browser. 10 is the first alert. 4,345 is the second alert. Nice. Yeah, we're getting close to that three hour mark, or almost home. We're just gonna finish this up, and that's what we're gonna call it for tonight. Yeah, I don't like to push you more than the 3 hours. I know you're giving me a lot of time at the end of the day. Create a function that divides one number by another and returns the remainder. We just did this. Oh, I know what the question marks were for. The question marks were, what is the result of division? Like, sum is the result of addition, difference is the result of subtraction. What's the result of division? Anybody remember what that's called from like 5th grade math? The result of division. All right, let's create a quick function. Thank you, Miss Turner. Let's do divide. Let's do divide num, we'll call it. We know we're going to take in two numbers, so we'll do num1, num2, and then don't forget our curly braces. Quotient, creator with the quotient, nice. All right, let's go ahead and do our division, and returns the remainder. That's nice, we haven't seen that before. Return, and then let's do num1, and then we're going to do that, divide it. What's the symbol for division, folks? Anybody remember that? Symbol for division, how we do division in JavaScript, chat? Creator, big smart. Nice, Sophie. We got a lovely forward slash. Num2. Cool. That's it. Let's keep moving. Create a function that adds two numbers, and if the sum is greater than 50, alerts Jumanji. Did I say modulus? Oh, returns the remainder. Returns the remainder. Boom. There we go. Modulus. Good job, chat. Well done, chat. The remainder. Nice. Let's keep pushing. That's what I get for trying to go fast. All right, create a function. Adds two numbers. Add two. Let's call it add two and check. Cool. And we're going to add two numbers, so we need two parameters. Num1, num2. And how can we check to see if the sum... How can I check to see if the sum is greater than 50? Yeah, we didn't call this function. Let's go ahead and call it. There we go. How can I check to see if a sum is greater than 50? Nice. Yeah, we're going to need a conditional. We can use an if statement. All right, let's do that. Let's do if. We can say if num1 plus num2 equals 50. There we go. Do we want to do equals? We want to do greater. Nice. There we go. Why wouldn't I do right caret equals? Why wouldn't I do right caret equals? Why wouldn't I do right caret equals? What would the equal sign mean if I did this? Yeah, that would be greater than or equal to, but that's not what I want. It says greater than, so I'm just going to do the right caret. Nice. And if it is, we can go ahead and alert Jumanji. Cool. That should work. Let's go ahead and call it and make sure we're good. Add two and check. And let's make sure it's definitely over 50. So let's do 50 and 1. That way we definitely know that it's over 50. All right? Don't worry, you can always have the materials afterwards. We're going fast because we just want to make sure we get through them. I know we're getting close to that 3 hour mark, so I don't want to take too much more of your time. All right, let's save it. Let's go back to the browser, make sure it works. refresh. 10, 4,345, Jumanji, because we know that 5 plus 1 would be 51, which is greater than 50, so we definitely know we're going to get Jumanji. Nice. Hold on, chat. Manny, for those following along with the YouTube videos, is it okay to pause them on the time parts? Absolutely. I would definitely pause the YouTube videos at the timer. Take the time you need to finish them. Especially if you're rewatching it on your own time. Take your time. Don't have to worry about the actual amount of time. Take your time, work through it. Yeah, I didn't actually call divide num. I didn't set my arguments here. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's just do let's do the same one we did earlier. 10 and 7. We know that'll give 3. Green said, Learn with Leon Season 1 marathon coming soon. I love it. Yeah, whenever I watch tutorials, I always put them on 175. That's my favorite speed. That's like as fast as I can like keep up, but it's fast. So I like doing 175. Cool. All right, we got 2 more here. 2 more, power through, and we'll call it because we're getting close. It's 3 hours in. Create a function, multiplies 3 nums, and if the product is divisible by 3, alert zebra. All right, we'll do a function. Let's go ahead and call this like multi 3 check. Right, we're gonna multiply 3 numbers and then check something. We're gonna need 3 numbers to do the division. We'll do the multiplication, sorry. Num1, num2, and then we need num3. Cool. And then let's go ahead and say, if the product is divisible by 3, what does that mean? How can we check to see if something is divisible by something? How can we check to see if something's divisible by something? Ooh, Sophia came in quick with it. Yeah, we're going to use that modulus again. If we did modulus 3, we should be good. All right, let's do the multiplication on one line, and then let's do the checking on another line. So let's go ahead and let prod equal num1, and we're going to do multiplication, num2, and then num3. Cool. And then let's do our check. So we're going to do an if, and then we're going to do, all right, if prod and divisible by 3, let's do mod 3. And if it was divisible by 3, what would it be equal to? What would we have to be equal to know that it was divisible by 3? All right, you see chat kind of doing it. 0. Yep, 0. Remember, 2 equal signs, you're just checking value. 3 equal signs, you're checking value and type. Like, are they both strings? Are they both numbers? Well done, chat. Crater got it. Sophia got it. Kayla got it. Nice. And little 15 was in there too, with the whole thing already. Well done. All right, and so if it is divisible by 3, we're going to alert zebra. Cool. Is using 2 equal signs in this case wrong? No. As a best practice, I always use 3 just to be more specific, exactly as Crater just said. Just kind of like a best practice or habit to get into. Okay. We have a function that takes in 3 numbers, multiplies them all together, checks to see if that product is divisible by 3, and if it is, it alerts zebra. Let's call it. And let's pass in 3 numbers that we know will be divisible by 3. So let's do 3, and then we can probably do like 6 and 9. So 6 and 9. Cool. Let's save this, and we should see zebra alerted to the browser. Let's go ahead and do Command R to refresh. 10, Jumanji, and zebra. Boom. All right. Let's keep pushing, folks. Last one. Create a function that takes in a word and a number. Console log that word X times where X is the number passed in. Oh boy. Let's do this. Function. Repeat word. There we go. So what it's going to do, it's going to repeat a word. We know we're going to take in a word. So set up our parameters and a num. Cool. And then we know we're going to need a function. Let's use, a loop. Let's use the loop that we did today. I just hit tab and it did it for me automatically. Let's change this up to let. I equal, let's just start with 1 so it's easier. And we'll say up to num. And remember, we want it to do X times where X was the number. So we can't just do less than. We also have to include the equal to, or else it'll be 1 less than we want to. Cool. So we're going to say, all right, start once, go until we hit the number that's passed in. And then we want to just log the word. Just want to log the word to the console. So we'll just log word to the console. All right. Let's go ahead and do our function call here. Repeat word. Let's pass in dominoes. And let's repeat it 21 times. All right, let's save this. Let's go to the browser. Let's refresh. And there we go. And we got our dominoes. Repeat it to the console 21 times. 21, 21, 21, 21. Cool. I know that was a quick power through. Questions while we're here. Questions while we're here. Questions while we're here. All right. Whew. Remember, all that code will be put in the Discord channel. Let's go over your homework. Your homework is to rest. Okay? I want you to go back through the material that you need to go back through. Remember, you should be doing your active recall, your spaced repetition. But as I promised, 100 devs is going to start soon. Remember, this Saturday, we're not doing office hours. I'll be moving. Next Thursday, we have the CSS3 animation class. We're going to make stuff move and have a lot of fun with that. And then the Diabolical said hydrate. Cheers. Then after that, we have office hours that Saturday. Then we have 2 more classes because we hit the community goal in 3 minutes. Blew my mind. Right? And then 100 devs is starting soon. So if you want to be the first to hear about 100 devs, you should follow me on Twitter. I'm going to be making that announcement soon. I am going to probably make the announcement soon, within the week, within a week. I'm not going to put a date on it. I'm going to say within the week, I'm going to announce it. All right. Within the week, I'm going to announce 100 devs. For those that are new, I am running another bootcamp all on Twitch that's going to take folks from zero knowledge all the way up to employable. This is something I do professionally for the past 8+ years. As folks have been joining us, hopefully you had a lot of value out of these first 10 classes. Hopefully you get a lot of value out of the next 2. It's been really fun having you all. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to end it for tonight. But I will see you all next week for the CSS class. Then we'll have 2 more JavaScript class because you hit the community goal. Okay. And then we will start the 100 devs. So if you want to be part of 100 devs, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I'll announce that first. It's been a pleasure having you all. I'm not going to say the full goodbyes because you already you extended class by 2 classes due to the community goal. So I'm not going to say goodbye for now. I'm just going to say see you soon. Remember, no office hours this Saturday. Let's do a raid. Let's end it with some good vibes. Let's send somebody else some love. Let me find them real quick. 1 second. All right. You know what? We're coming to an end. Let's see. I think Hiccup was on here. Hiccup was our first good raid. If they're still on here, let's send Hiccup some good vibes. I'm going to set up the raid now. Remember, if you raid, you get more points. Get more micro Leons. Let me do Hiccup, see if still streaming. They're still streaming. All right, I'm starting the raid for Hiccup. Let's go back. Let's send some love, some good vibes. I'll see you all next Thursday. It's been a pleasure. Have fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's raid.